seatbelts are on, the drivers are ready. We just can't wait. And to be honest, Dave, it has been massive, massive, massive so far. Can you believe what's going to happen this afternoon?
Well, I thought I'd seen enough in the top 32. We had some of the biggest names in the game go.
Ну що, я онлайн.
Some crashes, we had some upsets.
Залітайте на
We're
YouTube.
only halfway through the show.
Там
What we're about to witness
трансляція.
now is history in the making. Incredible venue, incredible talent. But only one guy is going to stop. There's going to be a top step at the podium. I can't wait to see who it is.
We have got to talk about our drivers. Obviously, they were up there doing the autograph signing session. They're just getting really close to our fans, because that's the brilliant thing about drifting. I'll always say it. People can really go up to them and ask them, how was that run?
Absolutely, and they're totally accessible guys. I mean, a lot of these guys have all logos on their race suits, but they're ordinary guys that work 9 to 5 a lot of the time. Heroes for the weekend, coming here to meet their fans, and those fans want them to get top step on the podium more than anything in the world tonight. So many countries represented. Who's going to take it home? I don't know.
We've got to talk about this venue. I mean, look at the fans here. We have got the Norwegians in the house. They are here supporting Torne Kavia. We've got lots and lots of big Finnish fans here as well. We've got to talk about it. At the last round, it was dominated by them.
Absolutely. I think, you know, this championship for a long time, the
Так,
Polish and the Irish have been all
любі
the
друзі,
headlines.
напишіть, як завжди, чи вам мене добре чути, чи вам чути трансляцію, чи все видно.
Well, top 32,
Аудіо,
to be
відео,
honest,
чек.
I was completely shocked. I just did not expect any of that to happen. I mean, first of all, we had Adam Zalewski go into the wall. Then it was Oren Nielsen. And then, do you know, the big story that we've got to talk about here, it's very unfortunate. I mean, I know these drivers are pushing everything that they can into their run. But as we saw here with James Dean,
Ого, скільки
it was just
крашів
a little
було.
bit too much.
Залєвський, Нільсен, Дін. Прям чуваки, які їхали в топ-10 чемпіонату, повилітали в топ-32. Уявляєте собі, який буде несподіваний фінал?
Absolutely not, and I know James Dean, he was having some clutch issues,
Ярик Кремко,
and
все
then
видно,
just
чути.
as he was about
Дякую,
to go
Ярик.
out, his spotter just said, oh, it's full dry, and then it just wasn't full dry. But let's catch up with what
Ого,
actually happened with that
колесико,
interview.
тигдим.
I actually had a headache instantly from the second we made contact with the wall.
Каже, що в
It
нього
was hard.
була
Just an
головна
unfortunate
біль
one. Right
після
at the end of
контакту.
practice we had a clutch failure.
В нього щось поломило зі щепленням, щеплення се вломило, і вони щось там зробили, і він виїхав, і фіксили перед цим виїздом, і він думав, що трек сухий, але трек був не сухий, і все.
So
А
whilst we
потім
were just
в бетон
watching that
всі
interview
вдарив,
there,
і
we can
все.
start to feel the pitter-patter
таке.
of raindrops just starting right now. And we're out on this outer zone here, where it seems to be where a lot of the
Одну
drivers are being
хвилиночку.
caught out. And as you can see here, it is just wet right on the edge of the track there.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's dry here. It's wet
О,
right at the
бачите,
wall.
то
And then
сухо,
all of the
але
colours
під
on the wall
стіною,
are all
але
of those
під
drivers.
стіною.
There's a little bit of James Dean there, a little bit of Torne Kavia there, a
Під
little bit of
стіною
Zalewski
є
there.
мокро.
This is where it's all going to go down tonight. Outer zone
А на
2.
Кавіа
Most
теж
risky part of the
розвалився?
track, fastest speed.
Хтось дивився топ-32, там взагалі хтось є, хто не розвалився?
Battles decided on this wall later on.
Well, there you have it, guys. It's going to be an evening of door bashing. It's going to get very close. It's going to get hot and heavy. But for now, we're going to head back
Кажуть,
up to
вечір
Ian
буде
Waddington in
hot
the
and
commentary
heavy.
tower to see what he thinks.
Гарячий і
Thank you very much,
тяжкий.
Becky and Dave. Yes, and I am in the commentary tower, and just look at the scenes. Well, the sun is setting, the lights are on here in Germany, and the heat is starting to get turned up. It is almost time to kick off our top 16. Let's take a look, though, at what we've got heading into that top 16. What battles are going to whet your appetite? Well, the first
Ого,
one for me,
2
Conor
лайки
Shanahan,
хтось
Henry
поставив.
Hamper, Shanahan still on that
Дякую, дякую.
championship hunt. You
О,
and Steve Banks, if you had
Конор
just a
Шанаган,
moment ago mentioning to me that one's going to be fireworks.
Юхарітинен,
Vincent
Петр
versus Gerber.
Вянцик,
Gerber's car
Черба,
looks on fire. He looks like
Торожник,
he's got all the pressure. A stacked
Шулінський,
top
ну
16
щось
grid
там.
moving forward. I am
Можна
super,
жити.
super excited to get this underway. And as you can see, the grandstands now starting to
Є
fill with the
якась
local German
інтрига.
fans. And even, as Dave and Becky said, the Norwegians and all the countries, bringing out those fans, bringing all those people with them to give them that little bit of a help, give them that little bit of encouragement to push harder. And there we go, a take down. A look
Чуть
at the
тільки
back
що
of the
на
circuit,
розігріві не
area. Conor Shanahan,
не
Henry Hamper
цамкнулися.
warming up the tyres on the back of those cars that are ready to go head-to-head for the first battle of our top 16. There we go, talking to those fans, getting warmed up and ready for the action here in Germany. The penultimate round, the final just around the corner in Poland. But first, this one to be decided. Who will be standing on the top step of the podium after the end of tonight's
Зараз ми
activities.
дізнаємося, хто буде
Time for talking is
чемпіоном
over. I'm
Німеччини.
ready for it. Hope you guys are ready for it. It's time to head to our top 16.
Are you guys ready? Ви готові, діти? Як казав наш месія Губка Боб.
Well, we're back.
О,
Dave's back.
ірландці.
Hope you're ready. Get to the back of your seat because by the time we're finished tonight, you'll be right on the edge, if not on your feet, because I certainly will be. The headlights
І
are on,
так,
the rain
зараз
starts to
буде
fall
Конор
down. It's
Шанахан
Shanahan versus Hamper.
їхати
This one means a lot. We've
з
seen Dean go early
Генпою
in competition.
на Мерседесі.
Nothing is set in stone tonight.
Я думаю, що Конор Шанахан його просто мусить сожрати.
He's up against a very on form Henry Hampa. From my perspective right now, one of the toughest guys to come up against on the grid.
Хампа в попередніх етапах їхав взагалі ніяк. Ну, але зараз побачимо. Конор Шанахан лідує, Генрі Хампа доганяє.
The older gentleman, the man that's just come off of a win in his home country. He is full of confidence. He is full of all the beans. He's got the sauce. He sits on that line and says, tonight could be the night this championship gets absolutely ripped in half.
Погнали. Хампа стріляє, там щось. Шанахан з фліпа, гарно, Хампа на прямих колесах доганяє Шанахана близько, дуже близько, прям непогано, чуть підвідстав. По вузькій траєкторії переслідує, добре, ну, відносно близько. Прямо близько за Шанаханом Хампа. Я в шоці, дивися, пресує Шанахана Хампа. Хампа, хто ти? Хто там за рулем в тому Мерседесі? Може, Джеймс Дін їхав? Крім постановки, все було якби непогано. Прям достойний проїзд від Мерседеса. Ну, я думаю, що зараз Шанахан його буде цей от уніжати. Ну, давайте. Подивимося.
But again, you got to understand, these guys are only human. They don't know what the weather conditions are like. They've watched some of their peers go in the wall in top 32. They've got a very nice shiny machine that they want to take to Poland in a couple of weeks. They don't want to lose it all here. It is a very knife-edge championship right now, and Shanahan will know this has to be the chase run for the championship. If he wants to stay in this fight, if he wants to bring this fight to the final round, he's got to do it.
Так, погнали. Хампа перший, Шанахан доганяє. Шанахан відстав на постановці. Але доганяє Хампу, їде близько по широкій траєкторії, ширше, ніж їхав Хампа. Перекладається прямо в двері Хампі, близько їде, пресує Хампу до останнього. Перекладка несинхронна, але близько пиляє двері Хампі. Ну, Шанахан далі. Непогано їхав Хампа, але проти Шанахана, проти Лома нет прийому. Чи наші вийшли в топ-32, зараз скажу.
Shanahan deals with it nicely, as you can see here, gets in it. But I watch Hampa just dropping a little bit out of the outer zone early there on the transition. Shanahan scales back.
Наші не вийшли в топ-16.
Pincer move back onto the door.
Ну, Ігор Мартиняк. Наші вийшли в топ-32 вчора. Сьогодні в топ-32 програли і в топ-16 не вийшли.
But these drivers won't care where they are, whether in a car park outside a shopping center or here. They're trying to get the job done.
Шанахан, дитятко, дивися, що виробляє.
Henry Hampa, one of the standout stars, I think, for this season of Drift Masters. He's been in phenomenal form right from the off. He's really gelled with the level of competition and speed that's in this championship. One to watch for the future. But has he taken down Shannon? If he has taken down Shannon, he's shaken up the championship. Let's see which way it goes.
Конор Шанахан далі. Ну, якби читалося. Хан поїхав непогано, але Шанахан є Шанахан. Він зараз в топ-3 чемпіонату.
And he's out of the championship. Becky, he's still in that championship hunt. He's closer to that podium again. He must be relieved.
Шанахан ближче до подіуму знов. Ну, якби читалося. Хоча Дін теж читався, але... Від Діна, звісно, я не чекав такого. Випустив топ-32.
Yeah, I was definitely on edge at the start of that battle. I must have walked underneath that thing before I went to go easily 10 times. I was just worried, you know, the drops, you can play it too safe, then you can miss loads of zones and you're not going to win a battle in Drift Masters like that. So I just had to risk it a little bit. Thank God there was a lot of grip there.
Говорить, що тяжко було їхати, і там неясно, мокро, сухо, але я молодець, і я виграв, і неймовірна атмосфера, все класно. Це час вернутися в техпарк і провірити машину. Конор їде провіряти машину. Там зараз масло провірять. І все буде добре. Наступна пара. Буде багато неочікуваних типів в ТОП16. Зараз буде Юха Рітанен, от читалося, і Стівен Б'єджйоні.
A wild card for this event, a wild card for the championship. He's been away though, he went to the Middle East, he absolutely destroyed the competition, he won the championship, he's come back full of energy, full of the beans. The car's on point, is he on point right now? Here we go, let's take a look at the qualification points and the experience.
The tail of the tape is even.
Зловив.
Even.
Реакція Мангуста. Так, Юха перший, Багьйоні другий. Ну давай. І Юха рано ставиться, Рітанен відстає, доганяє в великому куті, навіть більшому, ніж лідер. Доганяє лідера, перекладається в двері, дуже рвано їде другим, відстає, доганяє мільйон коректировок, доганяє Юху. Який заїзд. А, то Баксі. Ну, як вам сказати, от раз. Догнав, затормозив, відстав, догнав, затормозив, відстав. Ну, я не знаю. Я би не сказав, що добре. Він проїхав. Ну, але побачимо, як Юха поїде за Баксі.
This is incredible to watch. What I'm watching right now is two guys that are not backing down.
Думаю, що страшного м'яса в топ-4 сьогодні не буде, враховуючи те, що всякі топові чуваки повідпадали.
This one is definitely in the balance now. Rittenen's got to go hard. Rittenen's got to put in a good chase. He knows Bagsy's going to have a nice lead line. He's watched Bagsy. The spotters were watching him apparently from the grandstand. They were writing the notes down, Dave. They were doing their
прям маршали фіксують машини. Коли ми доживемося до того, що маршали у нас будуть фіксити машини на старті.
As our start line marshal.
I said to Marcin, the start line marshal, when I met him earlier, I said, you better have a multi-pack with you, because you're going to need a lot of tape tonight. There's a lot of body panels flying on this circuit.
О, вони скотч не вміють приклеїти, ну.
At the moment, this is an interesting because Ritenen now gets that little bit of time to think in the car. He goes, what way am I going to approach this? He knows that Bagsy's fast, he knows that he's aggressive, and he knows that he's got the machinery to stay with it. Everyone's talking about that first corner. How much do you
Хлопці, та що ви не вмієте скотчу машину мотати? Трансляція тупить.
He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He got there. He got the dive done. Now Rittenen's got to do the same.
Yeah, Rittenen's got to do exactly the same. I think Rittenen's got to put the car in an uncomfortable place. Rittenen's got to think about, risking the car, risking the weekend for a chance at getting into that grade 8 to go off against the battle Conor Shanahan.
And the thing about it is right now is Rintanen, he hasn't been super close in the chase this year. He's doing all the work in the leads, being fast, being smooth, being consistent. He's probably going to have to turn it up a little notch here and have to go, okay, I've got to risk it on the first corner. It's going to be tough to see that matte black PS13 in the dark too, so it's going to be a lot of different things happening right now. But we get to watch these two amazing drivers go in absolutely full tilt into that first corner, and anything can and will happen. The lights go orange, the lights will go green, and these boys are going to send it. Here we go. Bagsy to
Так, погнали. Баксі лідує, Юха доганяє. Юха, блін, дуже близько під'їхав до Баксі, відтормозився, відстав. Юха зупинився взагалі. І я думаю, що це буде 0, але продовжив заїзд з клача, поїхав далі і прям погано. Прям дуже погано. Так, вернемося до чату і що там відбувається з трансляцією.
Analyze Bagsy's move here. To me, it looked like he was on throttle, and Rintanen just came in a little too hot. Rintanen now in desperation mode, trying to get back into the battle, and again, next transition makes the same error. Goes in a little too hot. Watch the dive here. Too hot, has to hit the front brake, almost over-rotates again. So this is sort of a showing of how much pace Rintanen has in the car.
Бляха, що так тупить? В мене нічого не тупить.
Yeah, of course, Dave, yeah, and it's for us to say sitting right here in this commentary
very easy for us to say watching, and it is very tough out there. Conditions have changed quite a bit. Let's see who's going to the top 8. It's going to be Steve Bagsy Biaggioni getting the win and going through to the top 8. Just quickly going to throw it back to Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, it must have come down to that over-rotation from Rintanen on that at the end of that first corner.
Yeah, it comes down to those 2 errors by Rintanen on his chase runs, unfortunately, and they were completely unforced by Bagsy. We did analyse the replays to see if Bagsy was slowing between outer zone 2 and outer zone 3, but from what we could see, he was fully on throttle on the correct racing line, and on that qualifying line, should I say, and no issues there. He just, it looked like you had just pushed a little bit too hard, caused contact, and then again, coming into outer zone 5 or 6, there, you had just trying to scramble and get a little bit of proximity before the finish line. Unfortunately, he just threw it away because he advantage from his chase run, or from the previous run, should I say.
There you go. Didn't need to push that hard, but I mean, easy for us to say. He's going up against some of the best in the world here tonight. Everyone's pushing hard. This one is what this is for all the marbles. This one is almost as important as the final. Peter Wiańczek, the current championship leader, still in the fight. James Dean has fallen at the first hurdle. Wiańczek now goes up against Benediktas Szczerba. Szczerba can redeem himself this year by beating Wiańczek. He's not had the best year, Szczerba. But if you beat Wiańczek in the form that he's in, you're now the name everyone's talking about. Szczerba will know that. We saw their mechanics dialing that car up to 11 in the paddock before this. Wiańczek will know how good Szczerba is, and Wiańczek's got to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and he's up against one of them now. Wiańczek, though, doesn't look like there's any chinks in the armor for him this year.
Szczerba is hungry for it. Look at this big initiation for Wiańczek. Peter Wiańczek to get that car dialed, now goes for the kill. Big dive from Szczerba on the foot brake as he now plays with him. Szczerba's got the pace, he's got the grip. Szczerba now dials it in, turns it onto 11 as he fires that car across the circuit. Wiańczek looked to be on the ropes at that transition, but Szczerba all the way up on the inside.
Ну що, вроді стало ліпше. Щерба тільки що пресував Wiańczeka. Ви мене чуєте? Чути мене? Чути? Видно? Не тормозить? Не тормозить. Добре, тепер включаю себе. Попробуємо так. Добре чути, сорян, я не то сказав. Чи мене добре видно, чи не тормозить? Я підозрюю, що не тормозить.
just so precisely right now. So cool, so calm, so collected.
Добре, зараз має бути м'ясо, Венцик буде пресувати Чірбу. Дивимося. Надіюся, що дивимося.
For me though, it looked a little bit like some of those transitions, Dave. Some of those moves were a little bit panicky from Peter Vincek. Looked like he was firing the car dangerously across the track to try and evade Churba.
Yeah, but I think from where I'm sitting right now, I think we're looking at a Vincek that in the chase position right now.
Добре.
He's going to have to attack. He's going to have to get up on the door of Benedictus Chirba. And Chirba's a solid lead driver. He's a good driver. Vincek's going to trust him
погнали.
the right thing.
Чірба перший, Венцик другий. Чірба поставився добре. Венцик зразу близько, всю дорогу близько. Щось Венцик поламався. Бляха, це найбільш неочікуваний етап зі всіх, які були. Венцик тупо все. І Чірба доїжджає, і Венцик не проходить. Діма, я вже йду наливати, тому що тільки що цей лідер чемпіонату просто відпав. Здається, висить редуктор.
He's ripped the differential from the car.
Ну, знаєте, то все від маски. Міг їхати, ну подумаєш. Люди без цього, без шин доїжджають проїзд, а тут редуктор лежить на землі. Можна їхати, не бачу проблем. Так, ну, Венцик додому. Я би так зняв футболку і голий би сидів на трансляції, але не буду, бо тут можуть бути діти. І йду візьму ром, і зараз прийду.
Look at this. Vincek's going to smile through gritted teeth here because, you know, to the prop or the I'm not sure what's gone wrong in that car, but the sparks for me look like so.
For sure, the differentials fell out of the car.
Something broke.
Я прийшов.
I thought he had DB'd the tire. That's where the sparks were coming from.
No.
But it was
aluminium. They would have been white sparks, Dave. That was steel. That was steel hitting the floor, and that is that differential ripped.
Peter, what a sportsman to just
congratulate Chirba. Механічні спорти, то така срань.
There was no way Chirba was going to recover
from that, and it's just one of those things.
Ну що, вечір перестає бути томним. Я сьогодні цілий день тусив на сірці і такий трохи пом'ятий. Не знаю, як я тут вивалюю з вами сидіти, але нічого. Зараз якась Бекі буде брати інтерв'ю Венцика. Зазвичай Бекі бере в того, хто виграв, але то ж Пьотр Венцик.
Unfortunately, it's a diff. It's a differential case. It's now laying almost on the ground. So I heard some noises in the practice. It was behaving a bit louder than usually, but our team checked everything and everything was fine. But simply something micro, you know, damage happened, and that's it. Something that we cannot predict.
Каже, щось все стало, що ми не могли передбачити. Нам встидно. Встидно, але, каже, я був такий excited. Такий збуджений, коли доганяв Чирбу і почав клачати багато, а потім чую редуктор хуяк по підлозі і все. Каже, дякую, буду тут дуже файно, але я вже їду додому. Ще одне питання, Пітер. Петро.
It won't hurt the championship, it just gets more exciting, you know. So fingers crossed for that. It's going to be exciting final in Łódź and in Łódź. And yeah, we'll go to there. We'll go there now.
Peter, go and find James Dean and go have a drink.
Кажуть, Пьотр, знайде Джеймса Діна, йдіть бухати. Бачиш, Діма, не тільки ми бухаємо, а ще от, пацани на Drift Masters.
I've got 2 words for you, right?
I know what's just happened.
2 words for you.
Go on.
First one's Connor, and second one's Shanahan.
Yeah.
Because I just saw the Shanahan team look at that screen and go,
Тепер
let's get
Шанахан.
this thing ready.
And I tell you what though,
Тепер Шанахан буде на першому місці,
he's
так?
got Connor next. Bagsy was on the podium last time he was here. He's driving like an absolute beast.
Well,
I'm going to say, if Connor Shanahan goes out to Bagsy, forget everything that you've ever thought about this championship.
I'm putting a little bet on right now that I can guarantee you there will be some names you're seeing in those top 4 battles that you will not have expected, because it's one of those nights, Ian. It's the darkness, it's the island, it's whatever. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. It's just everything cannon off the side. You can see Cherba taking a good look under Vyancek's car going.
мене все ідеально.
Becky giving him a little bit of a congratulations. And
Ого, Бекі тискає Чербу.
And to have Peter Vyancek's car break, which is such heartbreaking moments for Vyancek, though. I mean, at that moment, I thought it's over. He's there. That's the most difficult part of the track. He's right on the door. He's going to just chew him up for the rest of the run, and then it just all went wrong.
Cherba was on a perfect qualifying line. He gave Peter the best opportunity
and you can guarantee that Cherba's line would have been perfect throughout. So Peter would have made.
Oh, it was.
He would have made a great chase run out of that. He'd probably have taken the win, and we would have been all like, oh well, that seems the way it's supposed to be. Now we're here with a differential on the ground. Connor Shanahan looking at going, hold on a minute, if I win this event.
Well, we've got Connor in the Great 8. Coming up, we've got.
They've got to say Jack Shanahan has got to be back in this as well.
Kavir and Jack are now sitting there going,
here it is.
Check everything on the car.
Колеги, щось це робить.
Check everything.
Не знаю. Чи то з інтернетом, чи то з макбуком.
I mean, James Dean's out of the competition, Peter Vyancek's out of the competition, and now you're looking at Connor Shanahan, Jack Shanahan, Tornik Kavia saying this.
Що, YouTube трансляцію закінчує? Що закінчує трансляцію?
It doesn't make the championship different, crazy, it makes it exciting. We go to Poland for the final round. We're going to tarmac a stadium in Lodz.
Ну, зараз це має бути. Коли я ходив, я поставив заставку, рекламна пауза, потім я вернувся і виключив її.
Connor Shanahan going out early here tonight. Peter Vyancek winning the event. The championship could have been wrapped up.
Yeah.
It certainly won't. No. It will go to the final round. How close it goes to the final round.
То щось YouTube глючить. Я тут ні при чому.
Must have had a look over and say, Vyancek went out, he came back being towed in. Tonight might be my night.
Так, зараз Торнер на Киві буде всіх снашати.
Put a strap on your horse though, Dave, because he's up against a guy who again was on the podium the last time he was here. He's in a brand new car though, this time it is Pavel Korpolinski. He loves these difficult tarmac circuits. He said, I feel right at home right here on this. He said, this car, well, it is absolutely dialed in. Let's take a look though at the heat indicator. Well, it's equal for both these guys. The speed from Kavir, the precision from Kavir, it almost matches the proximity and the imitation from Pavel Korpolinski.
This is going to be a huge one. This is going to be a
They're all huge, Dave. Every single one's a huge one.
I'll put it this way, these are two boys that have looked comfortable all week. This is going to be a tough fought battle as they come off the line. Kavir slams through the gears.
Арнакавія лідирує. З фліпа ставиться. Корпулінський близько під'їжджає до Арнакавії. Широко, ніякого тест-стилю. Прямо в двері йому стукає. Трохи відстав на перекладці, але потім доганяє Тора. Корпулінський. Хто ти, воїн? Я в шоку. Дивися, хрясь. Дивися, чуть поправив, мені здається, Арнаковію. Типа, чувак, дай огла. І такий його чуть. Цек. Ну, Корпулінський неочікувано. Добре, їде. Космос. От тут він трохи загубився, а так весь проїзд, решта. Космос.
Korpolinski got lost in the smoke. He dropped out of outside zone 4 and found himself in the middle of the circuit. Made a brave transition, managed to get back on the door of Kavir. But I'm not sure. That was a mistake for Korpolinski. I think we just see him a little bit on the ropes there.
Молодець, молодець.
Is so fast.
Не перехваліть пацана.
getting warmer again. The heat, it's getting hot, cold. It rains a little bit for 5 minutes.
I think I'm going to overheat if I keep watching battles like this.
Не як деміків з
You
Міллером.
can see the marks. Look at the marks on the side.
the car
of Kvyat's
is-
car. There was at least 4 times that Korpolinski hit Kvyat in that, and Kvyat said, "Don't worry about it, buddy. I'm
I've
going to
got
stay
it.
going."
Yeah, I've got it.
This is going to be a big one. Now Kvyat's going to know. He's going to actually have felt. He doesn't even need the spotter to tell.
Oh, he
I
felt it.
felt the hit.
Я сьогодні стрімлю з кухні, тому заді мене можуть ходити люди.
He is going to absolutely go through the side of Korpolinski's car at outer zone 1 here. I can guarantee you. He is not going to let this one go down without a fight.
No, he's certainly not. Well, look, the championship hangs in the balance for Kvyat. He's in the top 5. He wants to progress through. He's seen Dean go out. He knows that Peter's just dropped out. He knows there's points on the table available. He wants the
Корполінський і Тор. Корполінський перший, Тор доганяє. Арна Квія, блін, ставиться прямо синхронно і так близько, я в шоці. В третій зоні близько, в ковбасі, близько, перекладка, а ну давай. Перекладка і близько, вгас всю дорогу, чуть-чуть відстав. Чекайте. Арна Квія відстав. Ну, я думаю, от постановка, дивися, просто топ. Тупо тормозив всім, що було. Диви, всі колеса диміли, всі. Гарно Квія. Перша перекладка в Квії ідеально, а от потім якось він отут відстав, 6-7 зона. Трохи зле. Я думаю, що може бути one more time.
No, we're still on, one side.
We are getting final after final with these boys. No, but look at the expressions. They put everything into that. Absolutely everything into that.
You can tell by the look on Korpolinski's face, he's hungry for that.
He wants that win.
He wants that bad. He stood on that podium down on the beach before and he's saying, I want it again. I want it again.
Look at the backdrop.
Look at this.
It's like a scene from Transformers.
Виглядає як сцена з Трансформерів, я згідний. Кіберпанк такий класний. Ну, розказуйте, що там у вас тим часом. Все працює?
Or Korpolinski. Was Korpolinski holding Kvyat too far to the left-hand side?
Так, Олег, Курий, тут я експерт. Що ти мені тут розказуєш? І враховуючи те, що судді довго тягнуть, я думаю, що може бути one more time. Ну, one more time, я ж казав. Тому що Арна Квія дуже добре поїхав першу половину заїзду і відпав в другій половині, а Корполінський всю дорогу їхав посередньо за Тором, тому таке рішення.
We really do think that Tor had a fantastic lead, really good, but Korpolinski just really not having it to the same standard. Quite a difficult initiation to chase, and also a very shallow angle coming down to outer zone 1, and also dropping a wheel as well, Korpolinski. So you could say that Tor definitely overall had the better lead, and then I think we could all agree that Korpolinski had by far the better chase. It was absolutely fantastic, but as I said, Tor didn't have the best lead line to follow. So overall,
Роман Павлович, смієшся. Що ти сі смієш? Тут серйозні речі.
Thanks, Kev. I agree. I want to see them go one more time. 87 more times. That was one of the most entertaining battles I've ever seen. And you know what? We'll just take a break now.
Супер.
Massive battle coming up.
Значить, що я ще пізніше ляжу спати.
Yep. The guy that's won Iron Drift King versus the guy that wants to win Drift Masters at.
О, зараз Шанахан з Нікнаком буде їхати.
Thinking about the championship, saying James Dean's gone, Peter Vyancek's gone.
Та ну нафіг. Ох, тут зараз буде м'ясо. Малий вчора виграв якийсь там на тому ж треку.
Bertans has had more laps than Shanahan on this track. Shanahan's talking about his car not being 100%, but I always feel that even if Jack Shanahan's car wasn't 100%, he adds another 10% to that car, another 20%. So here we go. Bright green lights from Jack Shanahan for the nighttime show. Shanahan to lead him in.
Yeah, Shanahan leading in.
Так, Шанахан лідує, Нік-Нак далеко. Ну, типу, на середній відстані їде, пресинг присутній, але в двері не їде. Перекладка синхронна, Нік-Нак відстає в 6-й. В 7-й зоні. Я якось думав, що буде ближче. Ну, але то я. Що я знаю про той ваш дрифт? Все сложно, то вам не яхти. Я вже вилив собі весь ром. Так що доганяйте.
Technically, for me, Nick-Nack, you know, impeding that lead car a little bit, did put Shanahan on a weird line, and Bertrand caused him to shallow up angle and lose a little bit.
Ми все поняли, Нік-Нак їхав не дуже близько. Не так близько, як би ми хотіли. Їдемо далі.
The Iron Drift King competition that was held here last night. He has loads of seat time, a lot of experience on this
Модно на
circuit.
GT86 ставити такі диски під ретро, під старі BBS.
Jack Shanahan cannot be comfortable right now. He's got to go close here because otherwise, regardless of
Ви мені час від часу пишіть, чи є трансляція. Ого. Ого. Ого, Нік-Нак коцнув диск. Що то, одна спиця відломана? І якось колесо дуже вперед в арці виглядає.
If they're going to deem that car unfixable,
it's a broken tie rod. It's a broken tie rod is what it is, which means that if it's a broken tie rod, this is going to be Shanahan's win here because you cannot continue.
Jack's like, what is going on? He rolls his eyes because he wants to beat him. He's saying, just let him drive. I want to beat him. I want to beat this guy. Right, so we're getting word in our ear from the guys who are in contact with Martin, our start line marshal, and the technical advisors saying the steering arm is bent or snapped. He will not be allowed to complete the next run, and that was due to that contact with Jack in the chase position. Shanahan gets
by run.
Can I just take a moment to realize that Jack
Shanahan то просто не етап, а якийсь бардак.
There was no, he wanted to chase Bertrand in. Yeah, this is a man technically going for top 3 of the championship here. Gets a lucky break.
Тож треба було Нік-Наку так поламатися. Неудачно. Скажіть мені, чи є трансляція, чи все добре. Я вже щось переживаю, що відбувається. Ну, з того, що я дивлюся, здається, що все добре.
In Mandela Park, the first round, I got 2 buy runs. Furious. Saying, I didn't really win.
Що? Шанахан має 2 байрана? Ну, в топ-32 і в топ-16. Моцно. Так, можна і чемпіоном стати. Дякую, хлопці. Дякую, що написали, що все є.
Nicholas Bertrand, it was his own doing. He was the one that hit Jack Shanahan. Jack Shanahan was in very good form. He in good lead run, didn't do anything out untoward, and then Nicholas Bertrand hits him, breaks his own tie rod. Therefore, he's out of the competition. So from that perspective, I can understand it's not as unfair because you know it wasn't something slight. He was trying his best. And Nicholas Bertrand, you know, he's done pretty good this weekend already. The current 2022 Iron Drift King champion. But as he comes up against Jack Shanahan, and Jack Shanahan, you know, thinking maybe now, maybe it's one of those nights. I wasn't feeling comfortable. I wasn't feeling confident. But right now, I'm pretty confident that I'm going through to the top 8.
I don't know what you mean by it's one of those nights.
One of those nights.
The night time here means absolutely nothing because crazy stuff happens when the sun sets in Germany.
Хто там дальше?
Every time we come here, we go, oh, you know what's going to happen?
Хтось заскрінив? Я заскрінив.
No, forget that.
No.
Марко Закурил, Оливер Еванс.
I'm not going to stop saying it. They're all huge battles now because it is going to be Marco Zaccaril against Oliver Evans. Now, Oliver Evans hasn't made it to a top 8 in Drift Masters ever before. Zaccaril, the last time he's had a really good
Олівер
event,
Еванс раніше ніколи не попадав
he's looking to replicate that. And if we're
в
looking at it a little bit,
топ-8.
just saying, Steve Baggs-Biaggioni, it's working for him. Like
Ну,
this track.
зараз
Could Zaccaril
подивимося.
be another driver who, you know, comes back? Yeah, big statement here. Oliver Evans' car absolutely in ribbons, as you can see on the back. Not afraid to run those walls. He's going to be in the chase position.
Так, Zaccaril перший, Еванс другий. Zaccaril розмазана постановка на прямих колесах. Алло! І нарешті клачає, їде в великому куті. Еванс близько. Несинхронна перекладка, Zaccaril в бетон, і Еванс не справився з бетоном. Zaccarila і трохи в нього дав. Я чекаю повтор, не знаю, як ви. Ану, Еванс щось фігово поставився. Тут все було зрозуміло. Перекладка швидка, добре, і в бетон. І Еванс ледь уник контакту, але то можна сказати, що то був unchaseable run. Хоча там можна було відпрацювати.
Which is lucky because we've watched a couple of guys hit that wall, not make it back to the start line, and the battle be over. And now Zaccaril, let's be honest, he's lucky to still be in this battle with a hit like that. Evans got the advantage. Can he get the job
Двойка з
done?
намальованими фарами.
Know that in his radio that there's a big
Ну,
mistake
в
from
теорії,
Zaccaril.
якщо
That
зараз
understeer on the first corner from Evans, that could tie it back into the balance here. He's
Еванс
gotta get over that
проїде
problem.
ідеальну квалу, задання суддів, то він би мав пройти далі. Тому що Zaccaril, виходить, вдарився в бетон і зарізав траєкторію Еванса. Я правильно думаю? Напевно. Мозги, чесно кажучи, вже важко варять. Треба було в обід поспати. Ну, що стає? Кого ждем? Погнали. Еванс перший, Zaccaril другий. Еванс ставиться швидко. Їде добре, все, збирає Zaccaril на достатньо великій відстані. От тут вже нагнав Еванса, Zaccaril близько після перекладки і близько в останніх двох зонах. Ну, в нього якби не було свалу, і він мусив їхати на всі бабки. Але якщо судді сприймуть перший проїзд Zaccarila так, як я, що він після того, як вдарився і зарізав траєкторію Еванса, і зато йому поставлять 0, то Еванс їде далі.
Disclaimer, this is not a normal event. This doesn't happen like this every time. If you're a long-time
Так, кажуть ведучі, що сьогодні на етапі відбувається якась діч і дуже непередбачувані результати заїздів. Ну, зараз побачимо. Я вважаю, що Еванс має їхати
I've noticed something we haven't, but it looked to me like Zaccaril put his car into the wall on an unforced error, and that probably is going to be the tail of the tape.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are discussing this.
Мої англійські колеги згідні зі мною.
That's such a hit. And this is so we're actually now being a little bit privileged because we're seeing the view that the judges
I'm going to put a little spanner in the works here. Does Evans bail out of this too easy? That's the question.
I don't know. Look, he's I think he's taken a void in action
Ого,
to
з
make
тої
sure he
сторони
doesn't hit
I'm playing
виглядає.
devil's advocate because I like to, and I know there's a I don't know, I can't hear what the judges are saying, but does
I
Evans
think he takes his
Evans
front wheel.
їхав
From the different camera
по
angle, it looked like Zakharil hit
вузькій.
Evans' front wheel.
Now the question is, can Evans continue here? 'Cause
Чи
Zakharil does
Еванс
continue.
вдарив за
Can
Куріла?
Evans continue, or is that BMW coming back at him to cause an impact?
Не бачу
That's what
я
the
там,
judges are going to discuss.
щоб він його вдарив. Переклався стрьомно. Але що толку, якщо Закуріл ноль через удар.
I think Evans is saying, I thought I was going to absolutely smash into you, so I bailed out.
But I think what I can
The
understand.
international hand signals here are being read, and then Zakharil saying, well, I kept going, I got to the finish line. Could you have chased me that far? I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one who has to make these decisions, thank God. But the judges are having a good think about this. And to be honest, what I love about the judging decisions here, they're not rushed, they've got plenty of camera angles, they've got all the criteria, they've had a very detailed briefing. You know,
Покажи.
he's pointing at Zakharil's car, saying,
Нема,
there's nothing left of that car. The entire back end of Zakharil's car has completely
нема
disappeared.
машини.
I wonder if the judges are now trying to determine, was there contact before the contact on Zakharil on the wall? From a conversation I can hear in the background, did Evans ever so slightly upset Zakharil?
Питання в тому, чи Еванс поправив траєкторію Закуріла, що той вдарився в бетон.
Here is the decision. Oh, which way is it going to go? It's a split decision, and Marco Zakharil gets the win.
Закурил дальше.
Then it goes for Zakharil. Split decision between the judges. You guys have had a long talk about that, Kevin. That wasn't an easy one.
Yeah, an extremely difficult one. You can see how much
Я
deliberation that we
трохи
had
в
here,
шоку,
guys. And
але
what it really all came down to is, to be honest, everyone thought it was that contact
найбуде.
hitting the wall at outer zone 5. But what we were actually looking at was the contact before that at the end of outer zone 4, which was extremely slight. Now, it did come down to a split decision here, and
Тут не видно контакту, ребята, не ви думайте.
Significant enough to put Zakharil offline enough for him to then hit the wall. In my opinion, because Oliver Evans or Zakharil was slightly off on his lead line, it wasn't.
Але там
The other
так
two guys
нормально
thought, yes, it was
поїхав
wheel-on-wheel
бетон.
contact that would then
Закурил.
upset Zakharil's line,
Добрий
putting him
має
off
башбар.
and upsetting his transition
Може, йому
into outer
антиквар
zone
варив.
5. Therefore, he had nowhere to go, and Oliver Evans was at fault for that incomplete that happened down at outer zone 5. So an extremely difficult and tough call for us here in the tower, but yeah, unfortunately for Oliver Evans, Zakharil getting the call.
They go a split decision from the judges, goes to show everybody thinking for themselves
Так,
there
наступна
and
пара.
making the call that they feel is the right call. So a split
Дієго
decision,
Кореа
and it is going to be Zakharil getting the win. Now we move on to
і
Diogo
Василяускас.
Correa, the man that I think tonight might
Португалія
be the night. But then here's Andreas
і
Vasiliauskas,
Латвія.
who just beat James Dean. What way are you going to weigh this one up, Ian? I feel like anything can happen again. Diogo Correa, better season than Vasiliauskas, but Vasiliauskas, we mentioned it, in the air. Could be one of those nights. Starting to think, starting to believe, starting to think. I got James Dean at the top.
Там вже в світлофор загорівся і Кореа тільки тоді двері закрив в машині. Ну окей. Кореа перший, Василяускас доганяє. Василяускас далеко, сейфран такий їде, прям дуже сейфран. Тримає велику, от тут почав доганяти, несинхронна перекладка, знову відстає. Ну, таке, відстань між машинами, стабільно була корпус. Тільки в одному місці. Василяускас під'їхав близько. Ну, тут по вузькій доганяв та дивимося, переклався синхронно. І по вузькій почав доганяти, але після перекладки знову підвідвалився. Should Vasiliauskas have dealt with that better and been a little bit more cunning and зараз другий проїзд може все розсудить. А може ні.
That might be the tail of the tape. Other than that, I have absolutely no idea, and it's probably going to come down to the second run because it's Germany, and every time we think it's going to go one way, it goes exactly the opposite way. You can't take your eyes off it.
No, you certainly can't take your eyes off it, and I wouldn't take my eyes off it for a second because you will miss some incredible action. Here we go, they're back on the line. Vasiliauskas to lead out Diogo Correa. It was Lithuania versus Portugal on the line. And Diogo Correa taking a little bit of a run up at this one. We're taking a look at the track for a moment. I think our track marshal's waiting for the smoke to clear. Dave, to
a lot of smoke being thrown up, and of course when you put those lights through the
Чекають,
smoke,
поки
it's
сіве
very difficult
вітрить.
for the drivers to
Відкрийте хтось
see.
форточку, хай продує через ноутбук.
This amphitheater does kind of, you know, this bowl effect. Look at it, it's coming through the smoke.
Так, погнали. Василявський лідує, Корея взагалі десь там відстав, просто жесть. Корея, ну, далеко, хочеться ближче, але переклався прям в базу Василявськусу, пресує Василявськуса по внутрішній траєкторії, але близько перекладується. Близько в більшому куті, але відстає. Для чого їхати в більшому куті, якщо ти відстаєш? Мені здається, Василявський був ближчий. А так помилки в них якісь дуже симетричні. Ваше здоров'я.
And then at that point he's on the lock stops trying to do whatever he can do just to stay in the fight.
For me, Vasiliauskas left outside zone 4.
Не забувайте пити багато води, коли п'єте етанол.
Diogo Correa. Well, decisions in.
Well, let's see which way it goes. It's Andreas Vasiliauskas getting the win and going through to the top 8.
Ну, був трохи ближче. А так то помилки в них однакові. Імхо, звісно.
Korea had an advantage on that run coming into that part, but unfortunately he just threw it away with that over rotation. But then you also have to think about lead to lead, and then we think that Vasiliauskas was absolutely nailing that lead line, really in all those outer zones, and Korea just not fulfilling it, the qualifying line that we looked at. And also if you look back at Korea's lead line,
дуже багато тексту, але ж ми всі знаємо правду, що просто Василявський був ближче. Чуть-чуть краще.
And now we move on, and every battle brings up another story. Jakob Krull against Joachim Andersen. Two guys looking for change.
Jakob Krull, Joachim Andersen.
Jakob Krull hasn't got this far in competition before, and now one of these guys will step into the top 8. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not sure which way I'm swinging over here, because I'll tell you, Joachim Andersen had all the form early in the season, lost a little bit of it in Riga. Jakob Krull sort of gradually getting better and better and better throughout all of the rounds.
Так, Кроль перший, Андерсон доганяє. Взагалі неожиданна пара, але ок.
Stay cool under pressure.
Well, I mean, yeah, who can stay cool under pressure? The pressure's been turned up, the heat has been turned up in the oven, and
Ну що, погнали.
that is Ferropolis, the iron drift.
Так, Кроль ставиться, розмазана постановка, Андерсон близько, пресує Кроля, перекладка, в більшому куті доганяє Андерсон, але по внутрішній перекладається Тестиль, доганяє, в принципі, близько, їде. З помилками, але їхав близько. Непогано. Дуже непогано. Ну, зараз побачимо, як Кроль поїде другим.
Now he's in the wrong part of the track, and it's very difficult from here to get back into the groove. And as they transition back, he's just lost that little bit of ground. He takes a very tentative transition to not overdo it the second time. And over the two, they're kind of not perfect transitions. He's sort of looking for a middle ground. Either goes too aggressive or too tentative on both. Still in the fight, though.
Still in the fight, still very much in the fight. Now, swap them around, get them down there, some water and some cold air being blown on the radiator and intercooler of your
Класна штука.
Looks cold out there.
Мені таке треба додому. Я, правда, я буду листя здувати.
Well, the big thing here is there's not much air traveling through the venue.
No.
It's an amphitheater. It's actually lower than ground.
Минутка реклами. Завтра в 3-й годині будуть збиратися, чую, нині тачки маленько збирає біля Вікторії Гарденс. І потім на 4-ту їдуть в цей от Вілла Австрія. Коротше, в Віллі Австрії буде завтра виставка тюнених автомобілів на 4-ту годину. Так що підтягуйтеся. Андерсон добре поставився. Кроль близько пресує Андерсона. Прям жрей переклався. Не зовсім синхронно, але близько пресує Андерсона. Кроль після перекладки чуть відвалився, але помилок Кроль другим допустив значно менше, ніж Андерсон.
Jakob Kroll on that initiation. This dive for me though from Jakob Kroll was absolutely textbook. Look at that, gets onto it on the throttle, foot on the foot brake, dials that car in on the door as Joachim Andersen takes them both to the wall. An unbelievable transition there, but Jakob Kroll timed it wrong and find himself on the inside edge of the circuit. You see him wavering on the foot brake there, almost dropping in front of that lead car. And for me, Joachim Andersen there, one wheel over the edge of the circuit, takes a back end off on the wall, and I think Jakob Kroll backed off ever so slightly there because he wondered if he was going to crash.
I don't know which way this one's going to go. When I watched it a second time, I think that lead run from Anderson was pretty the wheel drop was very good. Let's see who's going to the top 8. It's going to be Jakob Kroll getting through to the top 8. Wow, what a weekend he is having, the Polish driver. Look at
Поки що без сюрпризів.
that race suit because he's had a tough year. He's been in all the rounds. He hasn't made the splash that he wanted to. Now he's in the top 8 at round 5.
Так, в нас зараз буде дуже цікаве топ-8.
Kevin, wheel over at the end from Anderson. A couple of messy transitions, but for you it was Jakob Kroll getting
Значить так, у нас зараз буде Шанахан і Баксі, Чірба і Арнаквія, Шанахан і Закуріл, Василяускас і Кроль. Таке топ-8.
Yep, it's the one more time battle between Toron Kavia and Pavel Kolpolinski. They couldn't get it done in the first battle.
And you know what? It wasn't mistakes.
No.
It was so close from phenomenal driving.
Yeah.
Where do they go from here? Where's the next level?
Well, you push another 10%, but that 10% could be putting the car into the wall.
I'm a little frightened to watch this, to be honest with you. A little frightened. They were very extreme on the first time around.
There's a lot on the line for Toron Kavia, but more on the line for Kolpolinski. If he can take down Kavia, who's sitting 5th in the championship, he takes down a big household name. He makes himself known. He gets back once again to almost a podium spot. Here we go. Kavia leads them in. Kavia absolutely
Кавія, бетон. Кавія, бетон. Йопересте. Ребята, весь топ. З всього топа лишилися тільки Шанахани. Всі злилися. Тупо чуваки знизу таблиці попадають в топ-8. Торар на Кавія, що ти наділав? Shit happens.
I think that's being proven correct. That first corner is absolutely everything. I will say that was a pretty heavy hit for Kavia.
Жопкою. Це ще якби не найгірше, що могло статися. Якийсь він розстроєний. Вам так не здається?
This could have been top 3 in the championship. You know, with James Dean going out.
Дивися. Поставився і що? І тормози. Бу-бу. Ну, типа не сильно ударився. Дивимось справді в очі. Все було не так погано. Фанати Квія в тому, в футболках Кавія. Блін, ну мені в нього вигідне прізвище, можна мати тільки 4 фанатів. Мені би треба було 5. Так, мені би треба було 5. Ой-ой-ой.
He knows how much of an impact this has had on his championship hopes.
Да, Арнаковія, звісно, підкачав. Та господи боже, та то ж все-навсього гоночки. Не найгірше, що може статися. Думаєш, заїхав трохи в бетон.
Tor, my first question, as always, when something like this happens, are you okay? That was quite a
Тор,
big hit
ти
there.
окей?
Yeah, I'm good.
Та, я норм.
Yeah, big hit, trying to do a run no one has done.
Великий удар був, великий.
It is what it is.
Маємо те, що маємо, каже. Тебе родичів Кучма не було?
The emotions when you get to the line, is it just like, okay, I have to go again, and sometimes you just push that little bit too much?
Oh yeah, definitely. I pushed too hard. I tried to outpace him, but I couldn't. I went into the wall, so yeah.
Каже, я хотів ліпше, але не зміг. І заїхав у бетон. Нічого страшного. Каже, що не було зацепу. Каже, я заїхав туди, де всі заїжджали і розйобувалися, і я теж там розвалився. Щось в чаті дуже тихо. Або все зрозуміло, або нічого не зрозуміло. У вас який варіант? Дивися, будуть боком фуру грузили. Є-є-є. Може нарешті собі якусь гарну нову буду візьме для постройки. То їздить на такій старій машині, якісь дуже криві і негарні. А їде гарно. То чувство, коли їде гарніше, ніж машина. Олег, якої інтриги. Шанахан виграє, тому що туди поприходили чуваки, які нічого не зможуть ТОП-4 представити.
He could take down Pavelko Polinsky, well, he could have moved forward. He could have climbed above. He would have known that Jack potentially would have climbed a few points ahead of James. Then he would have climbed ahead of James. There was not a lot of points in that top five. He would have been thinking, this could be the weekend. This could be the night. I climb up, like you say, into that top three and make a big move. And now, that's a big hit, by the way. That's a big accident. That is a lot of damage too. And I mean, these guys have, 5 weeks. 5 weeks till the final.
Пишуть, що цей капітан Морган чорний. Треба розбирати 30 мл рому і 120 мл кока-коли. Тут буде сама кока-кола, ви що, з ума сошли? 40. 40 трохи дере. Та що ще не вечір? Я дуже сильно в тому сумніваюся. Ну, типа, хіба ми хочемо такий дріфт? Я хочу, щоб максимальні топчики максимально місилися в фіналі. А коли, типу, там чуваки знизу таблиці попадуть в фінал і будуть так собі їхати на далеко або на прямих колесах, таке собі. Просто, проїзди там якогось Венцика з Діном або Шанахана і Арнакові і ще когось, дивитися значно цікавіше, ніж, я не знаю, якогось там. Кого якогось там. Я не знаю. Андерсона і Курполінського. Ну таке. Не, типа для пілотів це круто, вони там піднімають свій рівень туди-сюди, а з точки зору глядача і чемпіонату, і видовищності видовища, таке. Мені треба коментатором на український канал. Я можу просто жопу показати в трансляції, тому мене ніхто таке не візьме. Я наркоман. Адреналіновий. Чекайте, що це за заставка? У мене є своя. О, дивіться. Ну. Все. То вони якусь свою стрьомну показують. У мене така гарна. Сам зробив. Ну ладно, вертаємося. Пані та панове, запрошуємо вас на телерадіоканал Криївка, де ми українською коментуємо спортивні події і принижуємо русню. Раунд 6 буде аж через місяць в Лодзі, як бачите. Тобто наступний раз ви мене побачите 1 жовтня. Дай Боже, я буду в Лодзі і буду коментувати прямо звідти. Ну, бо війна закінчиться, ми її виграємо. Зірвемо Кримський міст. Well, he just headed up with a crash in the top 16. This is the most unpredictable round of the year, and here you go, back to top 32. Так, кажуть, це найнепередбачуваніший етап за всю історію Drift Masters. Джеймс Дін вдарився в бетон. Перший раз Джеймс Дін так вдарився, що все. Well, he picked up the pieces and went through to that top 16, and then it looked like it would all be Viansek. Viansek was going to dominate. He was going to take over. А тут Viansek лідер чемпіонату, дивіться, які іскри. Хрясь, дивіться, іскри. І Черба виграв. Ну, справедливості ради, Черба їде непогано. Я думаю, що там би була боротьба нормальна. Ну, ще побачимо. Черба може там десь в топ-4 гарно. Так, Шанахан, Бьоджоні, Корпулінський, Черба. Так, треба сфоткати. Ви сфоткали? Зараз я сфоткаю. Я сфоткав, все нормально. Сфоткала. Я відео знімаю. Я думаю, що буде в топ-4 Шанахан з Чербою, і це буде цікаво. І буде Шанахан з... Ну, там буде Кроль і Василяускас. Я навіть не знаю, Кроль, Василяускас, хто там, вони якось для мене однакового рейтингу, типи. От, нам розказують про трасу, то є розгін, зона гальмування, перша кліп-зона, і потім є зона гальмування, там де Дін не гальмував, зона 3 full throttle, зона 4 ковбаса така довга, невдобна, потім різка перекладка, якщо ти дожив, то ти маєш під бетон проїхати в газик ще 2 зони. Ну, отакий гарний трек. Я би такий хотів у Львові. Чесно кажучи, я якийсь той от всратий коментатор, бо в мене 15 людей на трансляції. О, Шанахан. Бьоджоні. Стівен Бьоджоні, то той, Багзі. Connor Shanahan could do damage here if he takes down Steve Biaggioni. But Bagsy has been driving out of his skin from the off today. This is what this championship is all about. Big moments, big names going head to head in crazy locations. Конор Шанахан молодий вискочка. 19 років. Сусід Джеймса Діна. У них там якесь повітря специфічне в їхній Ірландії. На Джеймс Дінівщині. Ну, походу погнали. Та що ви бобів знімаєте? Та поїхали. Шанахан лідирує, Багзі доганяє. Шанахан на тормозах. Багзі б'є Шанахана. І що, все? Шанахану пофіг, він їде далі, але Багзі відстав, догнав Шанахана. Перекладка синхронна, близько пресує Шанахан до кінця. О. Добренько. Добренько. Весело. Бу-бу! Люблю м'ясо. Щось таке, во. Ну то що, то їздять, ніхто машину не розбив навіть.
But he kept in it, and Baggsy said, well, if he's staying in it, I'm staying in it, and he chases him right to the door. Watch the front light bar on Baggsy's car, completely extinguished on the transition. This is precision driving at its finest.
Unbelievable, unbelievable stuff. Look at this from Baggsy, absolutely glued to the door. This transition, as you say, Dave, through the smoke. Look how close he is there. Unbelievable stuff. You want to know the funny thing? You want to know a story? Here's a story for you. Just moments before Baggsy went out for the Rittenham battle, earlier on today, Jack and Connor's dad, John Shanahan, was in Baggsy's pits, giving him some words of advice, talking to him, saying to him, Rittenham's not all that. You can take him down. This is what you need to do. Well, those words of wisdom might have been a little bit too much.
Не згубив.
Front end off of Connor's car.
Щось ніс свербить. Не на воду.
How consistent he is this year. He's the highest qualifier. There was no point in not trying that.
No.
Because Connor Shannon in the reverse is going to be close. However, with that mistake, with that error, Connor Shannon would have felt the bump. His spotter would have told him he's made a big mistake behind you, but he stayed in it. It's not over. It's not a zero. But Connor Shannon now goes, okay, what do? Do I go close? Do I make it without beyond any doubt I'm going to win this battle? Or
Шанахан може їхати тепер на сейф-рані. Тому що в нього є перевага, тому що Багзі його вдарив. Перепрошую.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about that as you're talking about it. I'm thinking, do you let him drive away? You let him drive away, Dave, it's all over. You let him drive away even with that mistake.
Пацани не можуть стяжку відрізати, ну. Німці. Та взяв ніж, чик, все. Може в них ножа не знаю. Відправити пацанам в Німеччину ніж.
This would have changed the emotion for them completely in that grandstand. They will have gone, this could be the night. This could be the night that it all comes back to play. And Jack Shanahan still in the competition. Connor Shanahan still in the competition. And now Connor Shanahan eating and clawing away points at Peter Vyancek's championship hopes. And Vyancek said it. Does it upset the championship?
Кажуть, що зараз може Шанахан відібрати лідерство у Вянцека.
It's damage limitation now.
Ну то може.
Shanahan doesn't claw too many points back. And he's got to chase Baggsy in here. You can be sure Baggsy
Great Britain і Ireland.
There is no question there. Bagsy's going to have to go 110%. He went a little bit too much on the chase.
Багзі лідирує, Шанахан доганяє. Шанахан на великій відстані доганяє Багзі. Їде не прям супер близько. Шанахан може ближче. І ми бачили, як він їде ближче. Шанахан на тормозах. Багзі тупо в газ. І при тому всьому Шанахан пиляє двері. Шанахан молодець. То якесь нове свіже вливання в дріфт. І він, до речі, був на чайці разок. Та, Міллера. І це було прям круто. Ух, скільки диму від Багзі. Дивися, Шанахан хряс з диму наскакує на нього. Шанахан
without that mistake, that could have been one of the best battles we've ever seen. I think that mistake
Молодець.
just
Молодий
soured it a
чоловік.
little bit on the first run. But we got a
І
taste
що
of it on the
скажуть
second. And there you
судді?
have it. Connor
Конор
Shanahan gets the
Шанахан
win. It goes
попадає
through to
в
top four. Bagsy's had a
топ-4.
great run out. Great weekend for him. Proving why
Баксі
he is
їде
always
додому.
the shark in the water when he returns to this championship. But I'm just going to make it official, Kevin. It came down to that.
Що сьогодні менше, зазвичай більше людей ходить на квалу, ніж на парні.
That it came down to that contact because that
Дуже
was the
цікаво.
best battle that we've seen so far today. Both drivers absolutely nailing that qualifying line and both of them absolutely sticking it to each other's door. But unfortunately that contact was in the deceleration zone. Connor was well within his rights to decel as he did coming down
кажеш,
through outer
через
zone 1 and
контакт
unfortunately Bagsy just came in too hot.
присудили
And was at a severe
програш
disadvantage then for the rest of the run.
Баксі.
Now he did pull it back with that awesome chase run, but it just wasn't
10:40.
enough
Я
overall.
зазвичай в такий час уже
Thanks, Kev.
сплю.
There we go. Kev clearing it up for us. And, Kevin
Ну,
O'Connell,
пробачте за мою
our head
пасивність.
judge alongside David Colasso,
Я
and
щось
Rafael,
не годен навіть
our judges always, Dave, they
тролити
have a tough
пілотів.
job every single weekend, but not quite like this weekend.
I think
Так.
they're, you know, they're earning their sleep tonight.
І зараз Черба буде жрать Карполінського.
Both of these guys superstars. Both of these guys won a trophy. That's where they're looking
Обидва
at.
чуваки суперстари.
If they win this battle, this is the one where you're so close to be not
Ну,
to be unrewarded if
може
you
і
don't
так.
get through it. Cherba not tested yet against Viansek. Viansek has the mechanical issue. Korpelinski not actually tested too much either as Tornikavia goes in the wall. Well, they're going to be tested here because both of these guys will look across and say, best in the business left and right. Here we go.
Погнали.
The lights light up.
Корполінський перший, Черба другий.
Hunts down Pavel Korpelinski, the higher qualifier through the gears.
Корполінський з ручника, з клатча, Черба доганяє не дуже близько. Черба на порядній відстані, тут вже пресує в ковбасі Корполінського. Черба близько перекладається до Корполінського і відстає в останніх двох зонах. Не було прям пресингу. В двері не стукав Корполінському. Ну, побачимо, що зараз представить Корполінський Чербі.
The best in the business because I'm watching these runs going. These are finals we're watching into the top 8.
Oh, they certainly are. They are finals. Every single battle we have seen has been a final battle because they are pushing so hard. No one is giving anyone an inch, and you can't. This place doesn't allow it.
Unbelievable lead, unbelievable chase. That's what, I don't even have anything else to comment other than that's exactly what you would expect. Phenomenal. Very little mistakes.
Very little mistakes.
Very little mistakes from either. And that's
Phenomenal.
where the pressure of this situation now comes to the second run. Who's going to make the first mistake? Because that's what is coming down. We both know that both of these guys can do it. We watched it. But who pushes too hard? Who makes the error? We're watching it all night. Who breaks under pressure?
Somebody breaks under pressure.
Will it be Cherba going too fast into the first corner?
Кажуть коментатори, що хтось мусить допустити помилку.
That first corner. That's what sets it all up. That's the moment. You know almost from there what's going to happen. And I think this is going to be very knife edge as these two throw it in. The clip 1 and 2.
Well, clip 1 and 2 are the decider. The initiation is the decider. Who can nail it? Who can get it absolutely dialed? Who can do it without making a mistake? That is the answer to this.
Так, Корполінський ближче до Черби, пресує Чербу те стилі, але дуже близько. Близько перекладається Корполінський, пресує Чербу в двері, зжирає Чербу, перекладається синхронно, близько. Корполінський в двері Чербі. Корполінський. Поляки, ви знаєте, для мене десь на рівні з ірландцями в дріфті. А після них Прибалти. Латвія, Литва, там теж мощні чуваки. Але та, щоб вигравати в дріфті, треба було народитися в Ірландії. Ну, в ірландській сім'ї. В двері, от, бачили? Гарно.
Unbelievable. Cherba looks so uncertain. So does Gorbalinski.
Yeah, they don't know. But we are about to find out who's going through to the top 4. It's going to be Paweł Korpelinski getting the win.
Корпелінський далі. Ну, то якби
He's
було
back to his second top 4
очевидно.
in as many events in this venue. He loves it here. He might do a full lap of the place now, celebrate. He's that excited. Kevin O'Connell, that was some of the best chase driving I've seen on this course today.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal chase driving there by Korpelinski. When you compare lead to lead, I think that both drivers had good lead lines, but both making small mistakes. So for us, it really all comes down to the chase driving, and you have to admit that Korpelinski was just on another
навіть
level
не
there.
приходь на другий раз на трансляцію без віскі. У нас тут тільки так.
And he didn't dive in like Korpelinski did, but my God, that final corner for Korpelinski was absolutely insane. He was just rubbing his door the whole way throughout, and that really sealed the deal for us.
There you have it. I'm just going to have a little preempt here. Just to let you know, Ian, that Connor Shannon, the man trying to tie all the points, trying to go to the final, he's got Paweł Korpelinski next. Am I right?
Yeah, he certainly has, Dave, in the final 4.
Let's look forward to that one and pretend it's not happening because we might keel over with the excitement. Now we move to Jack Shanahan versus Marco Zaccarel. Zaccarel hits the wall, gets the split decision, goes through to the top 8. Now he's going to reset,
То
got the pace, got the
дві...
car,
А, ні,
somehow
то би...
sellotaped it all back together.
Двойка проти
Jack
GT.
Shanahan in the lead. He's watched his
До
brother
речі.
go through to the top
До
4.
речі.
Can we get 2 Shanahans in the top 4? Well,
Я
Marco
би
Zaccarel
купив
would
двойку.
certainly love to ruin that party and get his first top 4 of the year.
I'm looking at this. Look at the speed. Look at the speed indicator. It couldn't be more full if you tried. It is all the way across. Shanahan comes in here as one of the fastest drivers on this circuit.
Yeah, but he goes up against one of the other fastest drivers on the circuit.
Шанахан
Zaccarel
щось
was so
всю
fast, he
дорогу.
was in the walls the last time. Here we go.
Очень
Shanahan in
бесний.
the lead. Zaccarel in the
Шанахан перший, Закуріл доганяє, Закуріл близько, Закуріл прямо стукає в двері Шанахану, Закуріл, що він наївся. Дивися, близько, синхронно, прям в двері перекладається Шанахану. Знову близько, боже, як близько, подивися, зжирає Шанахана. Закуріл. БМВ рулить. Вот. Я вам завжди казав, що ті ваші GT86. Подивися, що робить. Подивися. Подивися, як він переклався. Чітко. Близько. В двері. Дивися, хряс. На тормозі.
That is a phenomenal chase run, and we know Jack Shanahan is one of the best in the business, but he's got to be getting a radio call. He was all over you right there, Jack.
Yeah, that was clinical. Absolutely clinical from lead and also, Dave.
То не на воду.
Lead was phenomenal. Oh, but
Ой, щось горить.
oh, we've got an engine fire. We've got an engine
От
fire on
курва.
Zaccarel's car.
Бля,
Are you
так
kidding
класно
me?
їхав.
Not again.
Йоп твою мать, так добре їхав.
Zaccarel's car on fire once again.
Okay, hold on. Was it just oil on the turbo? I'm not sure what's happening. This I can't take any more drama tonight, Ian. I'm
Germany and Zaccarel are just. This is his
Бляха,
kryptonite.
якщо зараз Закуріл зайде через
Last time
тест-хід,
he ripped the subframe out the car.
okay.
я йду
Same
спати.
Riga, he went on fire.
Riga he caught on fire, the engine blew up, he lost oil. We had an amazing dancing crew of guys cleaning up the oil. Zaccarel last time he was in Germany was on the line though for the third and fourth place playoff against Paweł. Sorry, in this situation to battle Bagsy to go into the final 4 and the subframe ripped out of
Now,
the
hold
car.
on.
Now he's been on fire.
Yeah, but where are we at here? Because it doesn't look to me like it's on fire now. Was it a small fire?
Закуріл, Закуріл.
That was.
I mean, if he's lucky.
Дякую, буду
He
здоровий.
has to be incredibly lucky because our safety marshals will be looking at that and saying, is it safe to run?
Is the car safe to run? Now, you know, when we saw the smoke, we always assumed the worst, but right now it looks pretty under control. This night.
Щось горіло, горіло,
He's back
горіло,
in the car,
горіло.
And the bonnet's getting fixed back down.
Але не
Are
згоріло.
they safe to let him run? This is the question now.
He is allowed.
Все нормально з
Marshals have
БМВ.
given the word, said it was a small bit of oil hit the
БМВ
exhaust
може
manifold,
і в гіршій
and they're allowing him to run here.
кондиції їхати. Ну що, давай закурил, я прям за тебе почав вболівати. Просто за такий приїзд другим. Проти Шанахана. То прям космос.
Where his brother's already got there. Jack Shannon comes into this round in 4th place in the championship. He's trying to take down another couple of names here and get higher into the top 3 because James Dean is losing points here. Jack Shanahan lost a lot of points in Riga, was very disappointed, very disgruntled, not happy. Could this be the night? But Marco Zacro says, I don't care what's happening in the car. I'm sending it either way.
He's willing to risk the car. He's willing to risk anything to get a spot in that final 4. He wants a taste of the podium. He wants a shot to get into that final, and he will stop Jack Shanahan dead in his tracks if he has to. He just put down an absolute clinical chase run against a clinical lead run. Now Zacharil has to do exactly what Shanahan just done and hope that Shanahan makes a mistake. Well, here we go. The lights start to go. We get a green light. It will be Zacharil.
Шанахан поїде так само близько. Закурил намагається втекти від Шанахана. Шанахан близько, чітко перекладається в базу. Відстань між машинами мінімальна. Шанахан трохи гірше. Шанахан відстав! Шанахан відстав. Це що, закурив цей... Дальше?
You're not watching drivers, you're watching fighters. Warriors. Jack Shannon says his car isn't 100%. We already know very visually that Zacharel's car isn't 100%.
Закурил дальше.
They are pushing the extremes, the limits, the speed, the technicality. And watch this from Shannon, the transitions. Technically perfect, doesn't make any big errors. Now Zacharel, while he was very close in his chase run, does make a couple of errors. Shanahan doesn't, but doesn't have the proximity on the last corner. Just looks like here, Zacharel's car just up and went.
Oh, he's got the pace. He has definitely got the pace. And Shanahan couldn't deal with that. Shanahan in outside zone 7 there just couldn't deal with it.
I'm not sure what way this one's going to go. I mean, we have to look back to the first run.
Щось робить.
Outside zone 5 just up and gone.
I mean, everyone here is on the feet. Everyone's glued. We hope you guys at home are as excited as we are because you're watching sporting history right now.
Бляха, скучив я за движухами.
Exciting drifting you've ever seen and may ever see. You're watching two warriors shake hands and say whichever way it goes, it was a hell of a battle.
It was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. We made history tonight. One of us is going to the top 4 and one of us is not.
Та ні, нічого не тече, все добре.
In the crowd from the Shanahan camp, from the Zacharel camp. They don't know which way this one's going to go. You can see the shake of the head, the nervousness. You see the friends and the family waiting for the results. Judges still having a discussion on this one. They're still having a long debate. We can't really hear what they're saying, but we can hear the murmurings in the background. We can hear the arguments.
Та ви що, жартуєте?
There's a lot of opinions there, and that's why we have 3 judges.
Це було очевидно.
Very experienced judges who watch numerous camera angles, watch numerous options of what they can see. They can see everything. There's a mistake from Zacharel. That's what they're trying to look at. Now, that, to me, is a little bit of an error, but then everything else is spectacular from Zacharel. So Shanahan doesn't make any mistakes, but he doesn't do anything spectacular. That transition from Zacharel is out of his
Я Zacharel перекладався як боженька близько до Шанахана. Шанахан просто перекладався.
So Jack Shannon doesn't make any mistakes on either run, but Zacharel does exceptional and makes mistakes. It depends how heavy those mistakes are weighed. That's what's going to happen here. And the results are in. Who's going to the top 4?
No.
It's one more time.
One more time.
Another split decision in the judging tower. There's no friendships going on over there, guys. You're having a lot of arguments tonight, a lot of split decisions. Kevin, it's a tough game judging these guys out there because there's some moments of brilliance and some mistakes, and you've balanced it off with we need to see them again.
Absolutely, Dave. We really are splitting hairs here, and it is very, very difficult. But when you look at both runs lead to lead, I think they were quite similar. Both drivers making a couple of hesitations here and there, but really overall, it'd be too tight to call on the lead runs. So then, therefore, for me, it all comes down to the chase runs. in my personal opinion, and the reason that I went with Jack Shannon is because I felt that he had a very aggressive run, and yes, he did lose out on a little bit of proximity on the final corner, but for me, that was enough to take it over the 2 runs. The other 2 guys, Vernon and David, they thought that Marco's run overall had more proximity, and they weighed up those 2 hesitations or those 2 slight
У мене перегляди з 1500 впали на 600.
I suppose deemed acceptable to have that amount of proximity.
Що відбувається?
To see that sheer aggression and to be making slight corrections in the chase run rather than losing on proximity like Jack did, but very, very close overall.
Та господи, двоє пілотів мали помилки. Що стосується стилю, то Закурів їхав ліпше, ніж Шаган. По траєкторії, може, навпаки. Кроль, Василяускас. Навіть не знаю, на кого поставити.
Kroll and Vasiliauskas. Now this could be their night.
Давайте, Кроль, Василяускас. Поїхали.
One's going to bow out here, and I would not like to be taking bets because Vasiliauskas has been walking through people. Kroll has been on a flyer all weekend. Here we go again.
Well, here we go again, Dave, as you say. Jakob Kroll got one
І
of the very
так,
nice lead line. Fires down to
Кроль
one. He's on rails this weekend. Gets that car set up.
добре їде першим. Василяускас далеко. О, після перекладки близько під'їхав, але злякався і відстав, загубився в диму. Багато коректировок. Василяускас.
I think what's happening there is Vasiliauskas. It's again the big angle on transitions. It's just not the correct way to do it. It's fine. You're going to get your score. But watch this. As they come through this, you can see Vasiliauskas, he makes 2 errors on the transitions. He gets caught on the inside, goes very tight here. And when he transitions, big angle, he's going to slow the car down quite considerably, which puts him on big angle.
За що я і казав, що, типу, багато чуваків рівня топ-32 попало от в топ-16.
Vasiliauskas doing what, you know, we like seeing in drifting, big smoke, big angle, but in the chase, you got to dial it back a little bit. You got to make sure that you're not going on more angle than the lead car because he's obviously going faster.
He certainly is going a lot faster, and you can see Jakob Kroll drive away from Vasiliauskas. That was unbelievable on the outside zone 6. Well, they're back on the line, ready to go. A little bit of fresh air blown into the car, and it will be Poland's very own Jakob Kroll to chase down Lithuania's one and only Andreas Vasiliauskas. Vasiliauskas now sits on the line and says, I need the lead run to be phenomenal.
He needs to be perfect here.
I need the chase driver to make a mistake. He needs to hit the wall. He needs to over-rotate.
Now, I will say one thing. When Andreas Vasiliauskas' car hooks up, it's a fast car.
Very fast.
I think he's got a little bit of grip and horsepower advantage here, but Kroll, well, I haven't counted him out.
Ну що, Василяускас перший, Кроль другий. Василяускас добре ставиться. Кроль близько. Кроль штовхає Василяускаса. Чувак, їдь скорше. Дивися, штовхає Василяускаса. Бляха, як близько. Відстав. Щось, напевно, погнув. Все, Кроль по вузькій ледве їде. Ледве їде. Здається, він розувся. Тому що він їхав. От, він підштовхував.
Jakob Kroll did everything he didn't need to do in that chase position. Put the car in the wrong place and made so much contact.
Кроль штовхав Василяускаса.
Gets a little bit panicky, goes for transition, almost hits
Дивися, валить йому в двері.
breaks to avoid the contact, then finds himself on the inside edge of the circuit. This transition again, look, dives almost straight across the track on the handbrake, goes for a big dive, hits the front wheel. Vasiliauskas is just saying, I'm having fun. You don't have to beat me up about it.
Василяускас їхав далі. Але удар – це типу помилка, ти не повинен бити суперника, тому тут зарахують перемогу Василяускасу. Хоч він їхав далі, але це не така груба помилка, як контакт. Василяускас класичний прибалт, спокійний. Василяускас їде в топ-4.
He's into the top 4, all smiles, and I'll tell you one thing,
Ну, круто, круто.
great weekend, but it's ended there.
Круто бачити такі емоції чуваків, які йдуть до того роками, півжиття або все життя.
Andreas, you were just saying to me right then, this is a very good day. It's great to see you here, heading to the top 4. Can you tell me what's going
Везіння
through your
тут
mind
якби
right now?
не останню роль зіграло.
Come back after 3 years in the same truck. I remember in the 2019, it's not with my day, but today I feel
Каже,
very
в
happy.
2019-му був на його день, а зараз він дуже радий.
It's so good to see you so happy. You're heading into the top 4 battles, and we want to wish you great luck, because no matter what happens, you got a big smile on your face.
Thanks. Thanks our fans from Lithuania. Woo!
Каже, дякую всім литовцям, які прийшли за мене вболівати.
Look, I'm going to say it now. I think this whole new era of drifting, where these guys are now bringing fans. They've got a fan base that travels to every single country we go to. They're coming to these events. I think they're uplifting these drivers.
I think they're pushing them.
To see them in the grandstands with the flags, with the team shirts on, like these guys, cheering these guys. I think they're pushing them. They're giving them that little.
Так, я щось в чат давно не заходив. Що там?
We are having flags everywhere. People are cheering on their nationalities. Of course, we have 23 nationalities taking part in each round. And they're bringing about 1,000 people each to cheer them on, and it's making it so interesting. And then when their driver gets knocked out, they pick a side and they go with that for the night.
I don't know if you've noticed, the place is absolutely
А ні, щось підтягнулось.
It always is this year, rammed, every event, and with action on track like we're seeing right now. That's why. And can you imagine a full stadium at the end of the year in Poland?
Це нема Рома, вечори пропали. Я думаю, що всі пішли спати. Кому треба той дріфт в 11 вечора? Крім мене.
Gets rainy, just close the roof. Yep. Wow, what a world we live in now, where we're heading to fun like that.
Well, I was talking to the head honcho just yesterday, and I said,
Come on,
tell me some secrets. What's going on? What have you got planned for this event? He said, think about a concert where you've got the whole atmosphere.
То типу зараз затримки, бо пацани перезуваються на One More Time.
We're going to blow the roof off that stadium, and it's going to be a finale that people will talk about for years.
Will there be dry ice cannons? Dry ice cannons?
Yeah, there's them, yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
There's loads of them, Dave, nearly everywhere, apparently.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, tonight is not far from over, and I'm
Так,
looking forward
що в
to
нас
the
в
final round
топ-4
in a
буде
couple of weeks, but
Корпулінський
I think that
з
final round is going to get a little bit
Шанаханом.
more interesting, depending on what happens to Connor and Jack Shanahan.
І
Because they're
Шанахан
both in the competition right now. However, we do go
А,
back to the one more time
Шанахан
between
за
Zakrol
Курилом,
and Jack
ще має
Shanahan.
бути
Jack Shanahan said his
Шанахан.
car is broken. Zakrol's half the time on fire. Welcome to Driftmasters.
I'm going to say one little thing as well.
В Закуріла горіла
Now,
тачка.
He's in the final 4.
І він що, може зараз взяти 10 хвилин?
I'm going to
Чи тут
say,
нема
is he gonna
10
go for
хвилин на ремонт
steps up?
тачки?
If there was any driver on that grid right now that I would not want to be going against.
Ой, то ж київські стоять.
When he's on it,
Вайда
that
стоять, так?
happens. Sometimes I feel he wakes up some mornings and he's the best driver in the world. Sometimes he's very good. But tonight, he's
Цікаво,
been
як вони
exceptional.
всі за кордон
And I think he
виїжджають
loves this track. He
дрифт
loves the
командами.
walls. He's a big sim racing driver. There's a lot of that.
Якщо в
I'm
нас
sure he's put
100
1,000 hours on this track virtually before he came here. And Jack Shanahan
Заборона на
decided
виїзд
to stop.
мужиків з
Look how many
України.
people have hit this man over the last couple of rounds. He is just, it's going to be black by the end of the night. Zakrol hit him about 3 or 4 times. They're going to go back at it again. Now, this is what happened in the one more time.
Іра Гринько, всі тут.
They went at 10% up.
Так точно, всі на місці. От Шанахан на місці, я на місці, ти на місці, ще зараз не вистачає Закуріла, в якого горіла машина. Закуріла машина горіла.
He may have just climbed up a few spots after this evening, but he's going against a man who is hungry for this. And look at this, Connor Shanahan already in that final 4, having a conversation with his brother.
This is the conversation, because Connor's saying, Jack, get the job done here, you're going to go maybe top 3 or so in the
We could meet
championship.
on the podium.
Як їм не цікаво, два брата займаються тим самим. Треба чимось різним займатися, так цікавіше, щось поділитися якимось досвідом, а то такое.
Get our boys to the final. However, the competitors that they have to go through to get there tonight are probably more challenging than they've ever been. You might see the likes of James Dean and Peter Steinsack, you know, fall early, 32, top 16, and you think, well, that's all the obstacles out of the way. Every driver on this grid is phenomenal.
Everyone's a problem. Every single driver is a problem. Korpalinski is a big problem. Vasiliauskas, he said he loves this place. And he feels more and more confident every single run, every single pass of the circuit. He just took out a really confident Jakob Kroll.
Well, I'm going to put it out there right now and say Zacharow's got more pace than Shannon right now.
Yeah,
whatever's up with Jack Shannon's car, it's not as fast as we're used to seeing it. We're used to seeing that car be one of the fastest on the circuit. Now what Jack Shannon's got to do is drive it fast because it's not 100%. Something's up. He said it's been a long season.
Зараз буде м'ясо чи ні? Ваші ставки. Закурил Шанахан. Двойка ліпше рулиться, ніж JT-ха, так що я думаю, що... Ну, але тут скіл і ще всяке там. Зацеп. Гума. Хтось там, може, має валіну. Не знаю, чи можна валіну. Валіну, то так сказати, чіт-код в грі.
Jack sits on the line, ready to rock and roll. A look round the car, a quick inspection. He's given the all clear. The fist bump to the window says it's time for action. And in a moment's time,
it's time for action.
Look at the eyes on the light. He's ready for this. Jack Shannon is ready. Marco Zacharow's ready.
Jack Shanahan
will go through to the top 4. This is what it's all about. Mano on mano.
Давайте, хто в топ-4? Шанахан лідує. Закурил. Близько закурил. Закурил, просто зжирає Шанахана. Синхронна перекладка. Раніше навіть і вузько перекладається, але дуже близько закурил, дуже близько до Шанахана. І вже зараз відстає чуть-чуть в 6-й зоні. Блін, оце такий проїзд вартий, от топ-4. Дивися, та близько, дуже близько. Та перекладка, звісно, він дуже сильно заліз всередину, але справився, і от перекладка космос була. Правда, після неї трохи відстав, але догнав. Як він так його догнав? Шанахан один з найшвидших типів на треку. Как? Как им кверху? Тролять, що закурив цього разу не горить після заїзду.
Shanahan can stay with him, and if he does stay with him, that's dangerous. He's now driving without the brakes. He's now not, you know, in transitions, not stalling up. Is he going to drive that dangerous here with all those walls? That's the question.
В будь-якому випадку закурил молодець. Я в шоку.
I thought Zacharov was going to push Shannon off the track there, and he got away with it. He went to that danger zone and he got out.
Ну там, може і норм швидкий етап, а то ми дивимося весь час тих самих типів, а тут хоч от якісь нові імена. Шанахан щось там ісполняє, більший кут, ніж закурила. Перекладка краща, ніж закурила. Шанахан близько пресує, закурила дуже близько. Шанахан. Дивися, JT-ха не доганяє BMW.
almost a mirror image of what happened before the one more time. Zakharov has the pace but makes some errors. Shanahan makes no errors but doesn't have the pace.
В Шанахана значно менше помилок, ніж Закуріла. Але наскільки Закуріла краща машина, що він зробив купу помилок і все одно їхав ближче, ніж Шанахан. Ну, тут явно прийшов Шанахан, але Закурілу просто такий респект. І я хочу отаку машину. Але на дізелі. На новому трьохтурбінному. Від Ікса. Ну, як я казав. Шанахан далі. Що нам тепер прийдеться чекати?
Yeah, it really did all come down to those transitions in the chase runs.
Тому що
Zakharov just kind of over-rotating and making huge dives onto Jack's door, which, yes, he
нам не треба чекати, тому що зараз буде їхати Шанахан Чірба. Дуже цікавий топ-4. Якщо буде два Шанахана, то буде, звісно, взагалі. Я з озера ще в душі не був, пахло водорослями. Я трохи морська капуста зараз.
Marco, that was an incredible 2 runs there. You gave it absolutely everything, but it just wasn't enough to grab Jack. But you must be delighted that you got this far in the event, because, you know, it's been a difficult time for you in this season so far.
Yeah, but we really like it. I'm very happy that we can compete with the best. For example, Jack for me is the best in the world, so I'm very
Він
happy
каже,
that
що
I
він
compete with
дуже
him.
щасливий, що він міг проїхати з Джеком, тому що він найкращий в світі.
Can you tell us exactly what and where the steam was coming from out the bonnet of your car there?
Yeah, it's very tough for car. It's overheating everything, and it just turns burn because the turbocharger have, I think, 1,000,000 degrees. So that's why.
Він каже, тачка горить, бо турбіна має 1,000,000 градусів. Ну, з 1,000,000 він, напевно, перебільшив. Напевно, 1500. Шанахан Корполінський, Шанахан Василявський. Якщо буде 2 Шанахана в фіналі, то якби буде дуже.
At this point in time, that we've got to go to those finals. We've got to go to that top 4. I want to see who wins this. Let's do it.
О, реклама. А не, просто кажуть, що топ-4.
We are here in the top 4, round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship. And if you're wondering where the best drifting in the world is happening, well, it's happening on a man-made island in the middle of Germany. An island that's becoming synonymous for upsets, for crazy battles, for emotional moments. Is it the emotional moment that Paweł Korpolinski's been waiting for to take down Connor Shanahan,
неочікуване топ-4.
announce himself again on the European drift scene, or will Connor Shanahan go to the
Корполінський
final,
Шанахан.
get all
Хто
the
б міг
championship
подумати,
points
що
and
колись
take
буде
the
така
championship fight to
комбінація.
behind second Poland? It all comes down to this. There couldn't be more on the line in a battle, even more than the final. This matters more. Shanahan has got to get
Погнали. Шанахан перший, Корполінський доганяє. Шанахан з фліпа поставився широко. Корполінський близько. Корполінський пресує Шанахана близько, перекладається далеко, але потім доганяє, їде в двері Шанахану, друга перекладка знову ж таки не близько, і після перекладки доганяє. Корполінський відставав на всіх перекладках. А потім доганяв і їхав добре близько, мало помилок.
After Riga, I said, turn off drifting, it's done. We should have left it off.
You should have turned it
off.
off.
We turned it back on again, and look what happened.
Your fault, because you said, oh, we'll just put it on for Germany, just quickly.
It'll be fine. Germany, it's fine.
Hit him. He hit him.
Перше місце по швидкості на треку все ще за Вєнциком.
Shanahan just said, yeah.
Шанахан середня швидкість 62, Вєнцика 65. 3 кілометри за годину.
My brain can't actually comprehend how good these are.
Look at Connor Shannon's composure behind the wheel. He's not snatching at the steering wheel.
Наші не пройшли топ-32. Тут лідери чемпіонату, чуваки з топ-10 порозвалювали машини. І зараз в фіналі їдуть неочікувані чуваки.
Feels the tension, feels the nerves, feels how much this means to both of these drivers, feels that we're watching history being made on track here in Ferropolis, and Shanahan, who's going to put the lid at the visor and helmet down and say, it's go time. Am I the guy? Am I the champion? Well, I've got to beat the man that's been unbeatable all day. Pavel Korpelinski, Shanahan has to go from here. He's going for
Ну давай. Корпулінський, гірша постановка, ніж Шанахана. Шанахан близько. Шанахан підтормозився і відстав. Корпулінський добре. Шанахан близько в дузі. Перекладка. Шанахан ближче перекладається, ніж Корпулінський. Відстав! Шанахан відстав вообще. Корпулінський? Ти що, йдеш далі? Корпулінський їхав трохи далі, але Шанахана помилки. Шанахана помилки. Шанахан загубився в диму, чи що? Я в шоку.
And he had a bit between his teeth. He had something on his shoulder. He said, no, I want to win this. And right now, I think Connor Shannon is almost congratulating the Polish driver. We don't know which way this one's gone, but Korpelinski right now, I don't know if there's anybody that can stop him. Now,
I don't think
it's not a done deal. The judges have to make it official, but from what I watched,
I don't think Korpelinski's beatable.
I think Shanahan's thrown everything at that battle.
Yeah.
Not for a lack of trying, not for a fear of wanting to do it, but he's just come up against an immovable object tonight. And is that the way the judges are going to go? They're still having a deliberation on this one. Yeah, Connor Shannon saying he was off so much throttle, he was understeering to try and stay with him.
No. Корпулінський! Срав пес! Срав пес! Корпулінський це з грязі в князі. Чувак, походу, не був в топ-10. Корпулінський. Запам'ятайте це прізвище, чорт забирай. У нас тут нові фаворити.
Pavel, big smiles all round there. Obviously last year, in 2019 we saw you take the third spot at this track.
Виграти в малого Шанахана, то якби...
Is this your place?
Yeah, it seems to be. I love the track.
Питає ведуча, чи це твоє місце? Чувак каже, та.
Yeah, and I can't be more happy because I just got into finals for the first time, so I'm super happy.
Thank you so
Каже,
much,
що він
Pavel.
перший раз попав в фінал.
Congratulations.
Я думаю, що навіть такий результат для нього це топчик, але якщо він виграє етап, то я навіть не знаю. Віка, ти нічого не побачиш в записі, тому що наші випали в топ-32, а я коментую, починаючи з топ-16. Ну, щоб не просирати півдня.
Korpelinski's in the final. Connor Shanahan will be in the playoff for third and fourth.
Will he be up against his brother, or will he be up against Vasiliauskas? Jack Shannon said, car's not 100%, not feeling 100%. Now he's got a shot at the final. You try and figure this one out.
You try and figure that one
Ще
out.
один
Jack
неочікуваний
Shanahan's
хід.
pulling one out the bag there to try and throw all the top contenders off. Well, he sits on the line.
Regardless of what happens,
Шанахан Василевскас.
Oh,
this is just a game of chess between some of the best in the game. I absolutely love how you don't know what's going to happen at any moment. I feel like if you
Якщо
explain
два
this event
Шанахана
to a drift fan
програють,
after this,
буде
they would
вообще
say this
щось.
never happened. You're talking nonsense.
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish, but that goes to show how competitive it is.
Походу, виходить, що Шанахани поїдуть між собою. Чи ні? Ні. Василяускас догнав і стормозився за Шанаханом. Їде далеко, з помилками, з коректуваннями. Далеко, дуже далеко. Намагається по внутрішній догнати Шанахана, але не доганяє.
No way, I don't think anyone can catch Jack Shanahan.
Well, hold on.
Apart from Pavel Kobylinski, maybe. The mistakes again from Andreas Vasiliauskas, it's the big angle, the big dive, the big angle transitions.
I think Jack Shannon's put a little bit extra secret sauce in that car because he wasn't that fast against Zacherl, but he's turned it up here and they made it work. This is the big mistake for me. Comes through the center of the track. He's sort of in no man's land here. If he was on the door, the judges would be like, great, he's on the door, he's getting proximity, but he gets no proximity and he cuts the track.
Багато тексту, бла-бла-бла, нічого толкового.
Every battle that Vasiliauskas has been in, something has happened and Vasiliauskas has come through the victor, which means this one is far from over.
It's far from over. It's far from over, yeah, because we've got 30 seconds plus of a run to go. Jack Shanahan looks settled in the car. He looks absolutely dialed. Vasiliauskas, for me, though, those mistakes in the chase, are they enough to overturn it? Well, he wants to hope that Jack Shanahan makes those mistakes. See if it comes up all round, and here we go. The lights start to illuminate. This is for a spot in the final.
Василяускас перший, Шанахан доганяє. Корпулінський фліп, Шанахан близько, прямо зразу. Шанахан близько пресує Василяускаса, Шанахан близько. Шанахан перекладка в базу по внутрішній, дуже близько. Шанахан знов перекладка синхронно. Шанахан близько до Василяускаса. Шанахан прям в сантиметрах. Шанахан далі.
Jack Shanahan goes out early in Riga. D-beads a tire. Disappointed, dejected. And then we come a couple of weeks on. Here he is with a shot at the final. His brother goes out in top four. He'll be in the third and fourth place.
І буде дуже цікавий фінал. Шанахан Корпулінський, який вже одного Шанахана почекав.
This is masterclass stuff from these guys. This is a very tough track, by the way, if you're watching in. Very tough, very tricky. We watched some of the biggest names in the game go in the wall tonight. Not these guys.
I'm just trying to pick this run apart, Dave, as you're talking about it.
Кажу, сьогодні багато великих імен було в стіні. Ну та, сьогодні Арнакові, Дін, Орін Нільсен, в стіні був Адам Залєвський. Ну давайте. Шанахан їде в фінал.
He's going to the final because in the top 32
Красавчик.
how is this happening? The car is breaking down. It's not 100%, but it's just one of those nights you never give up in the sport. You fight on. I got to go across to you, Kevin, quickly to talk about that run. Some great moments there, and we are watching the best in the business do battle.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal, Dave. And when you go back to analyze the first run, Jack had a absolutely awesome lead run, really no errors with it. Unfortunately, Vasiliauskas not having an answer for Jack's pace, making a huge amount of dives and coming way off that qualifying line just to get back any little bit of proximity, but not coming away with any advantage from that run. You switch around then, and Jack was
Василяускас зробив більше помилок.
He had enough proximity the whole way throughout, and I think he played a little bit safe, but also, if you notice, dealt pretty well with a lot of left foot braking from Vasiliauskas. I think he's trying to settle the car around a couple of those corners, and that's where I think you saw the shallowing up of the angles. So we deemed that to not be Jack's fault, and over the two runs he came away with an advantage from both.
Jack Shanahan goes to the final. Becky is with him now. He must be in disbelief, Becky.
Disbelief is exactly the word, Dave. He's just said to me, what is going on? Jack, obviously in Riga, wasn't your best time there. You've come back this weekend. You were saying you have some troubles with the car, but now you've got yourself a shot in the final. That was an incredible
Каже, що в
run,
тебе
but you're
були
telling me it was
проблеми
actually
з
quite
машиною. Скажи, як тобі було тяжко. Каже, та, було трохи тяжко. Машина. Машина вимахувалася, але потім розказує про проїзд. Каже, що він мусить помститися за свого брата Корполінському. Мститель.
Yes, Pavel took out Connor in the last battle, so it is you guys in the final. Have you got any strategy ahead of it, or is it just as you say, we're going to send it?
Каже, в тебе якась стратегія, щоб виграти? Каже, побачимо, які він помилки зробить.
Excellent. Congratulations, Jack.
I'll tell you one
Вітаємо
thing.
Джека.
There's a pub somewhere in Killavullen in Cork where they've just stood up on the tables and flipped everything over because Jack Shanahan is into the final. Connor Shanahan will go into the third and fourth. There's still an opportunity for both Shanahans to take away trophies, but their opponents tonight will be very tough. Korpelinski, for me, of every driver we've watched tonight, looks like the difficult opponent to me.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's just got the pace. He's got the line absolutely dialed. He said he loves this place. And the chase driving from Korpelinski, for me, is phenomenal. Well, there we go. The third and fourth place playoff battle will be between Connor Shanahan and Andreas Vasiliauskas.
Так, зараз треба подивитися на спочатку Шанахана Василяускаса, але ми мусимо почекати, щоб Василяускас перезувся.
Connor Shanahan will look at this battle.
То би мало бути 5 хвилин.
He needs the points. He needs the championship points. He needs to be third step to make this championship all come down to the wire in Poland. He needs as many points as possible. If he gets third, he got a lot of points for qualifying first. So if he gets this, the most exciting thing for me right now is watching that championship scoreboard at the end because I want to see where they all line up.
Кажуть, якщо молодший Шанахан буде третім, то буде недостатньо, щоб зайняти перше місце. В чемпіонаті мається на увазі.
You look at Jack Shannon going into that final against Korpelinski, and I think Korpelinski hasn't put a foot wrong all night. Jack Shannon said he's going to send it. He's going to have to. Now, he has got the advantage of asking his brother, who just lost to Korpelinski, what to do and how to beat him. That's going to help him. That's going to be an advantage because he's going to know the tactic. He's going to know the run. And Korpelinski is a straight player of the game. He's going to do the same thing every time. He's an out-and-out, flat-out driver. No games, no mind games. Korpelinski's going for the win, and I think Jack Shannon is exactly the same. So we're in for a treat of a final. However, before we get there, we've got to get Connor Shannon and Andreas Vasiliauskas to the line to decide who's going to take third step on the podium. These are big battles in the scheme of things, big battles tonight, and big battles for statements made in the championship.
Yeah, it's the championship statements that have really got me excited because we walked into this weekend, we talked to the top 5, we spoke to people like Kavir who said, I'm going to try and, get some damage done this weekend. We're hoping that Peter gets taken out early in competition. He kind of does, takes himself out. But not only that, we lose Kavir and James earlier in the competition than we would ever have assumed. But then the two people that were sitting fourth and second now start clawing a load of points into the bag. How this is going to change the championship before we head to the final in Poland, I don't even know.
Говорять, що вони говорили з чуваками з топ-5. Всі були дуже амбітні. Але всі порозвалювалися. О, ну, що то виходить? Василяускас готов? Є два самих обидних місця в автоспорті. Друге і четверте. Друге, бо не перше, а четверте, бо не на тумбі. І зараз комусь буде дуже обідно.
Jack Shanahan, once again this weekend, like we see in Sweden, has that mindset, has that ability, has everything he needs to push that car to first place on the podium, and I think he believes in himself they can do it. Look at the team.
Шанахана старшого, щось там тачку провіряють.
Ask him what changes he wants to make to the car. You can see the team saying he said he's going to dial the grip in. I think he has to against Korpelinski. Shanahan couldn't catch Korpelinski, Connor rather, and now they know that. They know that what did Connor not do that Jack can do to stay in the fight. This is the advantage of having two very talented drivers on the one team. But Andreas Vasiliauskas says, hello, I am going to go beat Connor Shanahan, so it's not even going to be a conversation. It's for third step on the podium. Let's go to it. It's time for the finals here in Ferropolis.
BMW M3 Play-off. І тачка Шанахана. І залітає Шанахан під арку Red Bull. Чи тяне час? Хоче, щоб в того нервішки підздали?
Big names go in the wall. We watched championships overturned. We've watched underdogs rise. We've watched Korpelinski and Vasiliauskas take it to the guys that have been on top steps all year. Well, will they eliminate the Shanahans from these finals, or will the Shanahan brothers take home first and third? Here we go again. Vasiliauskas got the pace. He's got up against Jack Shanahan. He's going to know what that car is going to do of Connor Shanahan's. Very similar to Jack Shanahan. But if he,
Господи, та скільки можна вже говорити, та поїхали.
I would really like that third step on the podium for those championship points, please.
Yeah, he certainly would. But we talked about Connor telling Jack about Pavel Korpelinski.
Поїхали, йдемо спати. Вже 11:30.
All about Andreas Vasiliauskas. He will tell him where he's slow, where he brakes, where he puts the car, how much angle he drives on. There's so much knowledge being shared across those two brothers right now. This one could get interested.
Ну, погнали. Шанахан перший, Василяускас другий. Шанахан з фліпа. Василяускас близько ставиться. Пресує Шанахана добре. Близько на тормозах. Перекладається в базу Шанахану, але далеко Василяускас все. Да, чувак, ти був близько до подіуму, але ні, напевно лямбда згоріла. Каталізатор забився.
Look at that, pops the front wheel clean off of the tarmac as he clutch kicks that car door to door on the wall. Unbelievable from Vasiliauskas. So the transition was so brave. He went at the same time as Shanahan. As soon as he transitioned, the car said,
something shut off. You can see rear tires, watch, no smoke, nothing. He clutch kicks it to go again, nothing. So something's gone wrong with Andreas Vasiliauskas' car. Engine or drivetrain, we assume. Electronic cutoff, something happened. We don't know what's happened to that car, but he's back on, which means he's going to go at it.
Другу половину навіть не їдемо.
Because if that car shuts down at the end of that first outer zone, he's in the wall.
Yeah, well, they're just saying to me now that they're going to check the car, they're going to make sure it is safe to run, that he's happy for it to run, and that there is no issue with it running. Because obviously, yeah, as you say, Dave, he's in the lead position. You can't be firing that car in, it's shutting down. There could be a big accident, it could be in the wall. We're so close to seeing
батя Шанаханів, що його так показують постійно.
It's a clutch issue. Reporting a clutch issue. Now, what's going to happen here when he comes off the line?
Issue, проблема зі щепленням.
He goes to kick it at the end of outer zone 1. He's going to the wall. You have to have the power to get out of the wall. If it even gets that far. We don't know. Shanahan's confused. He's like,
хіба можна з таким їхати? Рішають англійське мої колеги.
This is interesting times here for third step on the podium.
Та хай їдуть. Ну давай, Василяускас. Якось дивно поставився. Ого, ого. Добре, добре, добре. Василяускас, добре. Шанахан доганяє всю дорогу на хвості Василяускаса. Василяускас вузьку траєкторію їде. Але Шанахан нормально з тим справляється. Тримався близько, все добре. Шанахан третє місце.
a formality at this stage. You can see he was kind of, I think he's come off on a very high gear there, so it's taken a while to come on boost. And watch when it comes
Я
on
на
boost,
кріслі
the
кота
lights
просто
start
сижу,
up. But it's a worrying time
на
for
якому
Vassilievski.
кіт
He
спить.
still rubs the wall, of course, and still gets to the outside of the track. Amazing stuff with a broken car. But you can see Conor Shannon dancing on the foot brake, not doing too much, not committing too much, and then here he goes, all right, well, he's gone completely the wrong way here, so I'll just about get around.
Нічого надзвичайного, старається триматися на безпечній відстані. Коротше, safe run, але досить близько.
Didn't go out in the burnout box, and I think it's going to be an official call. Taking third step on the podium is Conor Shanahan. Big night for him. All the championship points in the bag. We will see. A miracle happened for Conor Shanahan tonight. He would have watched Peter Geinsek's differential fall out of the car and said, I've got to get some damage done here. He did. Third step on the podium. He would of course
каже, що Конор Шанахан сказав, що мусить перемогти Пьотра В'янтика, і схоже, що йому це вдалося.
Conor, you are in the business. You're on the third step on the podium. But we've got to talk about Peter Wiesek going out earlier in the day. Was that a big moment for you where it really made your championship dreams come alive?
Maybe if I won the event, yeah. But yeah, obviously it was a big moment for the championship. But I didn't think like that. You know, there's enough pressure on the mind, so I just said tonight I was going to have fun, and that was it. But
питають, що чудо, і каже, що якби я виграв, це було би круто.
It's going to be a big, you know, penalised quite heavily. I thought it was quite clear to me that Korpelinski cut me off, but it is what it is. You know, that's the joys of drifting. But I had fun. We're back on the podium.
Каже, що він отримав задоволення, він на подіумі, і це третій подіум підряд, і він дуже задоволений, і каже, дякую команді, і батькам, всім. Кажу, будуть бухали. Ірландці, вони там норм бухають.
To be honest, I was quite confident I was going to get the job done tonight, but it didn't happen.
Каже, що він відчував себе комфортно на цьому треку і знав, що робити. Каже, що останній раунд розсудить нас знову.
Conor Shanahan, third step on the podium. He thought it could have been more. He thought that tonight was his night. Well, you know what? On another night he could have won it, but Geinsek could have
19 років виглядає як в 30.
So it swings and roundabouts in this game. Damage limitation. He got a lot of the job done. He got third step on the podium.
А що ви робили в 19 років? Били кропиву палкою?
Going into that final round of Poland, and I do agree. I think those more technical tracks suit Conor Shanahan. He's going to be confident going into Poland.
Well, look, we talk about Poland and we talk about how those tracks suit Conor Shanahan. Let's reverse our minds back a couple of years, Dave, to when we were a few years younger. Conor Shanahan won a stadium event in Poland. The first time he was in
and
Europe.
He did it by beating the very best, and that's what he's got to do in order to win the championship.
So could that be how he gets it done?
Well, we'll talk about that for the weeks to come. Right now, the moment is here for Jack Shanahan and Paweł Korpelinski. Shanahan, well, he's been to the top of the mountain before. Korpelinski hasn't. The crowd get up on their feet. Can you see how many phones are being lit up here? Because they know the talent they're about to watch on track. The best in the business. Jack Shanahan.
Всі запалили ліхтарики на телефонах. І вітаємо вас у фіналі. Корпулінський, Шанахан. Ж не віриться.
Korpelinski, well, he wants to just remind everyone that maybe not today, but one day he will be that champion. Tonight might be the night. Ladies and gentlemen, the time for talk is over. We're heading to the final.
Фінал.
55 drivers enter, 2 remain, but there's only one trophy these boys want, and that is the one with the big number 1 on it. Korpelinski will chase lower qualifier Jack Shanahan into the final. Shanahan can't believe he's still in this position. They've dialed the car up to 11. They've taken all the info from Conor Shanahan, put it into this GT86. Will it have worked, or will it be too much grip? He's in the lead position. Korpelinski, well, he's chased every door in the place. I'm pretty sure any door in a hotel isn't safe at this point from Paweł Korpolinski. He has been on it right from the off, and he got third here before. Now he wants first place.
Шанахан лідує, Корполінський доганяє. Поїхали. Шанахан, різка постановка, великий кут, багато диму, Корполінський близько. Пресує Шанахана, Корполінський, близько їде. Перекладка, близько Корполінський, пресує Шанахана, близько весь час. Корполінський знов близько на перекладці, пресує Шанахана, в двері йому їде, красавчик Корполінський. Корполінський топ. Просто топ. Їхати з такими мастодонтами на такий результат. Мені здається, що там екстріми роблять якусь читерську резину. Кажуть, що це неможливо, це не людська поведінка. Людина не може такого зробити. Весь Корполінський на тормозі та... Я думаю, що якби в Шанахана було якесь БМВ, він би прям їхав на тумбу кожен раз.
Supersonic, be superhuman, and push himself to a place where I don't think he's pushed himself yet today.
No, he's been calculated so far. He's been controlled.
Що там в
He
чаті?
can't be now. There's nowhere else to
Тихо,
go.
18 глядачів.
Is taking for this final. Korpolinski in the lead. Last run of the night. Jack
Дев'ять лайків. Погнали. Вирішальний проїзд. Шанахан далеко доганяє Корполінського. Шанахан далі, ніж був Корполінський. Перекладка. Шанахан близько переклався. Пресує Корполінського. Несинхронна перекладка. Шанахан по вузькій не доганяє Корполінського. Шанахан, міняй тут GT-ху. Міняй тут GT-ху на щось людське. Перекладка, та прекрасно, чудова перекладка. Близько, от дивися. Оба. Клас. Кайф. Так, але тачка не швидка. Не доганяє.
Judges are going to have a good deliberation on this one. I'm not too sure.
I'm not too sure. For me, Korpolinski is playing it safe. You know, he's coming up short on some of those outside zones to try and gain a little bit.
Два схожих типа. І грубасики з бородами.
The judges are going to be looking at. They want that perfect lead line, and for me, Shanahan was absolutely pinpoint perfect.
To be fair, they could also work as stunt doubles for each other, if you really think about it. But at this point in time, I don't know. They don't know.
Їх можна
The judges
переплутати.
are having a good conversation on it. The Shanahan team, I'm not sure if he's done it. I mean, it's a good night overall, irregardless of first or second for Jack Shanahan.
Подивися, як два брата.
You know, championship points are back in the bag.
Причому ж
He's gonna
один
be
поляк,
second and
один
third, or
ірландець.
first and third with Connor Shannon, two Shanahans on the podium. But Paweł Korpolinski.
Два Шанахана на подіумі. Чи між ними буде стояти Корполінський, чи збоку?
They're not sure which way this one's gone. Both of them want the win so badly. They're competitors. You hear them. They complain, they moan, they give out about when they lose. This is what sport is. They want the win. They're not here smiling all day. They want to win it.
Dave, they're traveling halfway across Europe for fun.
Давайте вже результати, йдемо спати. 12 ночі, кінець кінця.
And they've got to go through the best to be the best. And both of these guys want that win. However,
Я вже навіть вечеряти не буду.
they're discussing. Do we have a
Закриваю
decision?
ноут,
Decision rolling in
чищу
from the
зуби,
judges.
йду
Who's going to
спати.
take the win at round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship? Who is going to be the man that went through it all? The walls, the spills, the thrills, the breakages. Who is the winner? It's Jack Shanahan.
Шанахан перше місце, Корполінський друге, Шанахан третє. Два Шанаха на подіумі. Корполінський другий. Ну що, вітаю вас, дякую всім, хто прийшов на цю трансляцію, я завжди радий вас бачити, не забувайте підписуватися на канал, розказувати друзям, і якби чим вас більше, тим більше в мене мотивації це робити далі. Всім дякую і на